Welcome to the One Shot Twitch stream. I am James D'Amato, your host and game master. We've got a lovely treat for you here for One Shot Toberfest, our annual fundraiser so that we can maintain financial solvency over here at the One Shot Network. We are extremely excited to present all sorts of games and fun things. We've been excited to do that over the last 3 weeks. We are now bringing, I think, what I think is the most nerve-wracking, but also exciting thing, because Drew Mierzejewski and I have been collaborating on a new role-playing system, and we decided to take it out for a test drive to really give you a special treat while we're doing this fundraiser. How is our fundraiser working? One Shot is powered by Patreon. Over at patreon.com/oneshotpodcast. That is how we fund shows like Campaign Skyjacks, like One Shot, like all the campaign spin-offs like Courier's Call. So in order to keep the network going, to keep those shows on air, we need our listeners to jump in and help us pay the people who make those programs. We have, I think inflation has hit everyone quite hard. And I will say we are now at a position in the One Shot Podcast Network where I don't receive any money from our network. All of it goes towards the people who are involved in editing and whatnot. And I did used to get a wage from the network, but in order to keep us continuing to produce the way we have been producing, I have cut my salary entirely. And I do have a baby. So I would very much like to change that. And perhaps you listeners and viewers can be a part of that. But let's not talk about finances, because finances are disgusting and terrible. Let's instead turn to something that is wonderful, and that is our guests for this stream. I went out on a quest to find the meanest and harshest critics that I could find in the RPG space. I found them and I ran away from them and instead decided to get Connie, Chang, and C. Thomas instead to join us. Connie, I am so excited to have you. Could you please tell the wonderful folks in our audience who you are and where they can find your work?
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. Once again, I am Connie Chang, pronounced they, he, and she. I am the creative director and game master for Transplanar RPG. We are an all-transgender, people of color-led, dark fantasy, actual play TTRPG channel, telling stories set in an original, non-colonial, anti-orientalist multiverse. Outside of that, I am also the game designer behind God Killer RPG, which is a holy punk duet TTRPG for one player, the God Killer, and one game master, God. I love that you said two things. One, that finances are disgusting and terrible. We're running towards something that is not that. How dare you assume I'm not also disgusting and terrible, James? That's messed up of you, if I might say. The second thing is I love that you ran away from the scariest people ever. And here, yes, I promise we will be very nice and kind. Ignore the sharpened knives that we've got hidden in the shadows. Pay them no mind.
Those are cultural knives.
And yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
We're not going to hurt you, James. Mm-hmm. Promise.
No, step into our parlor, said the spider to the fly. I'll pass things over to the person in the lovely pink hat, which may or may not be available in a merch store that we're also repping. C. Thomas.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I love the thing. Hi everyone, my name is C. I use they them pronouns, and I am so very, very excited to be here. I'm so excited to be back on the One Shot Network. And speaking of funds, James, I think you should get paid. That you should get paid. I would love to see that for you.
That again, I prioritize everybody that I work with over myself, which
and that's super real.
Is fine, but also not fine. We can say that. Fine, but not fine. I mean, you know what? If you speak to my spouse, I am certain that they would be able to describe much better how it would be a good idea for me to get paid than I can, because I'm just too excited about the things that we make and all of my collaborators. But speaking of the things that we make, we are about to play a little game called Cosmic Century Nights. That is a working title. I don't know that that's going to be the final publication title, but this is a game that Drew Mierzejewski and I have been tinkering away with for the last couple months, I would say. It is primarily fantasy, but there's like some space fantasy thrown in there. And I think a lot of the inspiration that we've taken from is taken from like anime, and particularly shonen, the idea that characters have a bunch of like weird powers that they can do creative things with. This game calls for a polyhedral set of dice. So the first thing that I'm going to have everybody do is roll a bunch of dice because we're going to roll those dice for character creation. And of course, I didn't make the character creation checklist, and that's just fine. That's just fine.
Mark number 1 on the list.
We've got a very extensive rubric.
I
Noted.
want you to roll a die from the standard, one of every die from the standard polyhedral set. So that's, I think, except D4. So you're going to roll a D6, a D8, a D10, a D12, and you are going to roll a D20 twice. And just write those results down. I have, there are several random tables that we're rolling on to let people know that will help us create their night. While folks are rolling, I'll explain the basic setup for this setting. Cosmic Century Nights takes place in a generic-ish fantasy world where 300 years ago, a gigantic sword from outer space landed and stuck itself through the planet. This sword is a spaceship, and it carried on it 100 enchanted swords. And as it was landing, those swords jettisoned off of the ship and shot themselves all over the world. And in the 300 years since, people have been finding those swords and wielding them, creating the Century Knights. That is just a name for anybody that wields one of these swords. These days within the setting, people know about Century Knights. There are legendary Century Knights of old. There are legendary blades that have been wielded by many knights. And of course, there are some blades that are on the original ship that were never discovered. People only know there are 100 blades based on the design of the ship and assuming that everything is symmetrical about the design because they've seen where all of the blades used to be. Everybody here is going to be a knight in this game. We are going to have blades created for all of them, and we're going to create their backstories through these random rolls. Does everyone have their dice rolled up?
Gotcha.
You got it, boss.
All righty. Then I am going to switch us over to the game info screen and pull up that page. Okay. So what we are going to be doing is you're going to take things from numbers from your pool of things that you have just rolled, and we're going to apply it to the 6 aspects of your blade and your character. The first aspect is the lineage. Basically, this defines who owned your sword before you did, if anyone. The way a lot of these lists work is they are going to start off with like the least advantageous or least interesting options, and they are going to progress to the craziest possible options. So typically the higher number you select, the wilder your response is going to be. So taking a look at your numbers, you can pick a low number if you don't care that much about who might have owned your sword before you, or pick a high number if you think that would be a really cool and important part of your story.
Oh, as somebody who rolled 2 ones and then 2 other things not above a 5, this is very interesting for me.
Uh-oh, okay. I love it.
Ruh-roh. Ooh,
Are
but
the
I do-
numbers
one of
between-
your ones here? If you did, you would have a cursed blade, and your blade would have a reputation for slaying every knight who has ever wielded it.
Oh, yes, please. Thank you very much. I will be taking that cursed blade.
All right, write down on your sheet that you have a cursed blade. I'll turn to Connie. Connie, is there a number that you would like to use for your blade's lineage?
You know what? I'm so funny here. I assume that the numbers go between 1 and 20 because the highest die is a d20.
Yes.
Okay. I rolled pretty high for all of them except for my d20. So I have two fives. And they're all my rolls are pretty middling, so I think I'll use one of my fives here for the lineage.
For 5 in lineage, you would have a rebellious blade. This blade has served at the side of revolutionaries, and it has been part of every major rebellion within recent memory. It is trusted by outcasts and loathed by the establishment.
Love it.
Nice blade, Connie.
Nice.
That's cool.
They said I assign you leftist at birth.
Yes.
Anarchist at birth.
Assigned leftist at blade. Drew, what number are you thinking of using for your lineage?
Oh, it's no question. I'm going to go 2 unclaimed.
2 unclaimed. Okay, you are the first knight to find this blade. It has no deeds or reputation on your planet.
Strong ash catcher.
Nice. Yeah. Very nice.
Next, we are going to come to the background of the wielder. So, before you ended up as a knight who claimed one of these blades, you had a background. Once again, the higher the number, the crazier things are going to be for you. The lower number, the more disadvantageous or perhaps like strife will be included in your background. Based on that, what number do you think you want to use?
Ooh. Can we know what the other remaining things we have to assign numbers to are?
Yes, of course. I will absolutely do that. So we've got the background of the wielder. Then we've got style of the blade, which is literally what kind of sword it is. Ranging, from like a one-handed short sword to like gigantic swords or even blades made out of plasma. Then we've got claim of the blade. This is basically titles or responsibilities that might come with holding this particular sword. Then we have the appearance of the blade. That's literally like the aesthetic and design of the blade. And finally, the desires, both of your knight and the blade that wields it. Or I'm sorry, your blade and the knight that wields it, because your blade, whether or not it has a like sapience or a voice, will have the ability, will have like some sort of intent to it.
Right on. See, did you have ideas for what you wanted to assign to your background number?
I think I'm going to take one of my high rolls for this background number. I'm going to go with a 16.
A 16.
I'm going to use my 16, yeah.
Okay. So your background at a 16 is talking animal. You're smarter than the other animals.
Let's go!
You're a dog with a sword!
I'm a dog who fetched a
Shibamaru.
really, really evil sword. That's so funny.
Sick. Oh, I'm so excited.
Fetch my blade. Is Ethan Yen here?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This distances you from and others of your species, but also from the humans whose speech you know. You're caught between two worlds as you begin your adventure.
That I am.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
And yeah, you can definitely choose dog with a sword, but that talking animal has absolutely no limitations on it.
Oh my god.
I'm going to
so
think
excited
on
to see what
it.
you
I'm
pick.
going to think on it.
Okay.
Oh, that's
okay.
fantastic.
Next,
Beat that, Connie. Let's
who's
go.
up next for background?
You know what? I'll go. I'm going to give my other 5 to my background.
Okay.
So I want my blade and myself to share the same background, like, level, basically.
Alright.
Lineage and background.
Hey, your background is tired soldier. War has dominated your entire life. You've lost too many friends and seen too much suffering.
I love this trope. I love playing a fucked up, like, soldier. This is actually one of my favorite tropes to play with, so... I love that this game is sniping me.
And totally makes sense as the wielder of the revolutionary blade, too.
Yeah. Have to carry that a long time.
Drew, what are you going with?
I am torn. I'm very, very torn at the moment because I could go complete chaos gremlin with this, or I can put it more into a beautiful archetype that has a really good story to it. And I usually go with the beautiful story, so I think I'll go chaos gremlin with it.
Ooh, okay.
I'm gonna go 15. I'm an animated object.
Wow, what a bizarre party. What a truly strange party.
I'm
course.
surrounded by Muppets.
Yeah.
I'm
It
literally
makes sense
the
why
one
you're tired.
human.
It makes sense why you're a little tired.
In our Muppet production.
I need to know what kind of object, though, and what kind of animal.
Well, so
yet.
reading the description for animated object, you were just an object until one day you weren't. You have thoughts and feelings beyond your understanding. Whatever your form, you have a world to discover now that you've been given life. So pretty broad range there. There's a lot that you could possibly do with that. I will leave that up to you as we approach our next category. This is style of the blade. This is what type of sword you have. Obviously, they get more exciting as you go up in number. Let's move back up to the top. That was, I believe, Connie. Connie, what are you going with?
Sure, I can go. So we have remaining style of the blade, the claim of the blade, right?
Style and claim, and then desire. For
style,
both you
claim, and
the
desire, and
blade.
those are the okay. I see. God, I'm gonna go with a 7.
A 7.
I think a healthy 7. Yeah, because I
so-
have a 14, but I want to save that.
Yeah, you have...
Actually, you know what?
Ooh.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna assign my 14 to the style
14.
because I'm nothing. I am fashion soulsing this. So a 14.
Okay. Yours is concealed. This is a sword that can be hidden. A cane sword or some other type of hidden blade. So it looks like a different object, but it becomes a sword.
Ooh, Assassin's Blade.
Yeah.
Rebellious
I'm gonna have to
Assassin's
mull on
Blade.
this. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ooh, there's some cool stuff that could be done with that. And that is open to broad interpretation. Some of the lower numbers have less broad interpretation, but some of these sword options don't look like swords at all. So as long as it is a bladed weapon, that's kind of all you need for it.
Yeah. I already kind of have an idea, especially combining with the soldier background, like the idea of perhaps like a prosthetic.
Oh,
a soldier
that
having lost a part of
rips.
himself.
That's so
Yeah.
good. Oh my God, of
Yeah.
course. Ooh,
The sword demands something of you, perhaps even.
Yes.
wait
Yeah.
to
In order to wield it, you have to sacrifice.
that
I
that
can't
might
wait to-
be to,
yeah,
in
yeah,
order to
I'm into that.
become the knight for this blade. You very well may have to have done that, or you have to have been injured in that way, which I also
I think
like.
so, yeah.
Um,
I like that it is attracted to characters that, like James said, have lost something or have, experienced pain or suffering in some way.
Now we're gonna move to C. C. Do you have an idea which number you might want to feed into the style of your blade?
I'm doing my other highest roll right now, 17.
17. Star metal. This is sword
Star
made from a mystical metal from beyond the stars.
Oh, let's go. I'm gonna play the coolest dog.
Yeah. Holy shit.
The
Okay.
best boy.
Oh my god, hold on. I'm having a moment. I'm thinking about Lykia, the dog, like the Russian dog who was sent into space.
Laika, yeah.
Oh my god, Lykia. But I fetched the sword that went into space.
Oh
Did
my
not
God,
expect-
that's so cool.
Like they expected you to not come back, and you came back.
I mean, this is the cursed sword metal blade that kills everyone who wields it. They shot it into space, and I said, "Fetch it is, baby girl. Let's go."
I really love the idea that it had this cursed reputation or whatever, and so the very last wielder shot it off the planet, and it's just been in orbit until an expedition was sent up that they put you on to go get it. But nobody expected, now you're the knight.
Yeah.
Oh,
my
this is so
God.
good. I'm really quite excited about this.
I am thrilled. Drew, What are you gonna do with your blade?
I'm gonna go with let's see here, a 5.
A 5.
Giant, double-edged. So a great sword, a Zweihander, 6 feet of steel, which I think is perfect for whatever I am as an end.
Okay, Guts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like super big. But I mean, I'm probably something small like a sugar bowl or something like that. Like
A sugar
my
bowl?
God.
or
I would. Okay, so this is animated. I would prefer you be an object that could reasonably wield a blade.
so like a hat rack. Like,
Yeah, I want you to be, because it is animated, so this could be Beauty and the Beast style animated, like slightly anthropomorphized.
Yeah, and the
but
hat rack
since
is always
this
the
is our
coolest one.
first play test,
Okay.
I'm okay with the Chaos Gremlin decision. I just want to rein it in a reasonable amount.
okay. No. I can figure it out. I'll figure something out.
Okay.
Could you be the sword itself, or is that already is that a different
that is
background?
not like you absolutely could be the
Okay.
sword itself. That would not be against the rules whatsoever.
That's so good. I like that. I'm gonna keep that down as one of my options.
Okay.
Okay, we come to claim of the blade. This is our most abstract category, but it basically gives you responsibility to or power over something in addition to the responsibility that you'd normally get just having a sword. So I want to know which number. Let's Drew. Let's let you go first this time.
All right. Let's see here. I'm just gonna go 8.
8.
Unclaimed. Like a new-
Unclaimed once again. Okay. Like a newborn, this sword has great
Min-maxing.
potential, but no past history. None claim it. All right.
I love this.
How about C? What are you going to go with?
I think I'm gonna use my 4 here.
Your 4? Oh, C, congratulations. You're the chosen one. Whether you were the chosen one, and here's an important choice you get.
Ooh.
You could be the chosen one yourself, or you are fated to serve them. That destiny has brought the chosen one into the world, must be fulfilled, and you are part of fulfilling that. So you are either like, you either serve the chosen one, or as this star dog, you are the chosen one yourself.
I don't know which is. I get back to me. I'm gonna sit with that for a minute.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
delightful.
Connie.
Gosh, I'm gonna go with my 1.
You're 1. The Demon Servant. A low-ranking demon or devil, full of petty evils and dark desires. So this is like probably who gave you the blade is what I'm thinking. Or you owe this demon somehow for getting this blade.
I like the idea that it's kind of like a battlefield moment, and like my limb, kind of like Edward Elric, my limb's been blown, like 2 of my limbs have been blown off. I'm like bleeding out. My men are dead. You know, I'm looking at the face of my dead best friend on the battlefield, and I'm like ready to die. Yeah, but then like I hear a voice saying like, "Don't you have something left to fight for?
Yeah.
Like the wealthy that sent you to this, you know, like that you never had, you know." And then kind of like a take my hand kind of moment, and I reach out with my hand that's been blown off, and I realize that it's there, like there's like a shadow over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like imagining a cinematic moment, and I take this blade. But I do think that this demon servant has like it's their own agendas, right? But I do want to do something else, like so we might come, you know, butt heads.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love
Do it.
that. I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay. Those are all of our claims. We are now going to the appearance. These are the aesthetics that come with your blade. Let's start with Connie again. Connie.
Do we assign a number for this?
Yeah, assign a number.
Okay, I'll do a 7.
A 7. Macabre.
Cool.
Details like bones, skulls, and other gloomy death imagery.
That makes sense. Yeah, this demon
Nice.
servant had a really fun time bedazzling this sword.
Absolutely.
With teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I
Ooh.
like is the sword definitely arrived on the ship. So the demons like went out and was like, well, this looks like it should be ours, right?
Definitely. I like the idea that the prosthetic itself, I'm thinking like right arm goes up to the elbow, and where the prosthetic meets flesh is kind of like an open jaw.
Ooh.
So it looks like a mouth is biting me. And when the sword comes out, it's like I don't know if I want it to be like a spine with a sharpened point at the end, or
Ooh.
just like a long tooth, like a
Ooh.
whooshing, and it comes out that
Those
way.
are both
Yeah.
of those are extremely cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Connie's
love it.
living like my goth dream right now. It's
Maybe
so
it's a
good.
sword
I love
whip,
this.
because there's nothing that says I can't do it. So it's like
That's
a
true.
vertebrae that can
That is
click out.
absolutely
right?
true. There's
like a whip
nothing
sword.
that says against.
Yeah.
That is one of the results, is you can have like a sword whip result, but because yours was so vague, you can take it in whatever direction you like. Let's move over to Drew. Drew, what do you think you're gonna do?
I think I'm gonna do an 8.
An 8.
Demonic.
Demonic. Okay.
Full of foul runes and profane imagery.
All right. I can see why you're sort of fitting together in this party, which I think is really, really cool. Very cohesive.
Yeah, we're all evil.
And see, what are you gonna go with?
I am gonna go with my 1 here.
Oh, hey, broken. This sword
I,
is
I,
broken.
I
in
peeped
some
that
way.
through the Twitch stream and I said, oh, yeah, that's what I want.
It could be cut in half, only a hilt, a wrapped fragment of a blade that was once larger, which is really interesting, being star metal too. Like it's
Oh,
this
yeah.
like kind of indestructible metal, but somehow was broken.
My characters really come together in my mind so far. I have a very strong pitch, which I'll maybe save until we're all done.
Yeah.
I'm
Just in
so
case
excited.
just in case our last thing changes things up. But it's coming together for me. I'm very excited.
So for your final numbers to assign in character creation, we have the desire for your blade and the desire for your knight. Basically, these are just like, dreams, maybe like a theme of will that keeps repeating through your life. And again, the blade might not be sapient, but it definitely wants something in many cases. C, let's start with you here. What desire do you want for yourself or your blade? Like, which ones are you going with first?
Well, I've got a 3 and a 6 left.
Oh, you know what? I will tell you both, because we can see. If you choose, the 3 is a desire for destruction, to destroy all things beyond life and death. And 6 is a desire for chaos, an overwhelming desire to fuck shit up.
Incredible. That the destruction is going right for my sword, and the chaos is going right for my knight.
Yeah.
That is so good.
I love it.
This is fantastic.
I love the things that people have come away with thus far in creating characters for this game, and I'm glad that it's holding together right now. Connie, what are your 2 remaining numbers?
Yeah, I must have messed up when rolling numbers. I only have 1 number left.
Oh.
Did we roll the d20 3 times
You rolled
or just
You
twice?
should roll twice. Did you roll a d12 or a d10? Perhaps that was.
I rolled a d6, d8, d10, d12, and a d20. Did I miss something?
Huh. I guess roll the d20 again.
Technically I rolled the d10 twice
That
because
might have been
there were 2.
There might be 2 d10s, but I.
Oh,
know
2
what?
d10s?
I
Okay.
truly didn't put together the little guide of rolls that I needed to put together to ask for the correct number of rolls. So, yeah, why don't you roll a 10 for us?
Okay, great. I will. No problem. Okay, that's a 9. So I have a 9 and a 6.
Okay. So 6, as we know, is chaos, and 9 is peace, a desire to disrupt conflict and violence.
Hilarious.
Okay, my knight is the 9, the blade is a 6.
That makes
for
perfect
sure
sense to me. I
Yep.
love it. I love it. Drew, what are your remaining numbers?
My 2 remaining numbers are 7 and 15.
7 and 15.
Ooh,
So
that's high.
for 7, there is duty, honor, and justice. A pull to keep oaths and see tasks to completion within the letter and spirit of the law. And 16 is there can only be one. The goal is to destroy all other century blades.
I think the sword is there can be only one.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
And I am duty, honor, and justice. And I think what I am is I think I am whatever army Connie's character is from. I am a suit of armor from that particular army.
Yes! Could we be related in some way? Like, could we know each other?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, were you my friend's suit of armor?
Either that or like the general's suit of armor.
The generals. Yeah, something like that. I feel like I know who wore you.
Yeah.
Like, I want to have personally known who wore you.
Yes, so like I am that suit of
Yeah.
armor that is instilled with duty, honor, and justice. And I was probably animated by the sword itself because the sword is
Oh
like...
my god, we're literally Full Metal Alchemist right now.
Yeah, we
I'm
are. Yeah.
literally,
Hold on,
you're
hold on.
literally.
I got a pitch.
Yeah, you've got
I've
the-
got a pitch.
Oh my god!
Hold on, I've got a pitch for you. So I would really like to play the Chosen One's dog.
Oh.
I am the Chosen One's best friend, loyal companion. The Chosen One, who perhaps was the general of this army,
Oh my god!
who wore the suit of armor full of justice and honor, who in a last moment of great sacrifice broke and destroyed the cursed blade and flung it into space, where then their dog chased after it like we were playing fetch and brought it back to Earth.
Oh my god. I love this so much.
Yeah.
And their
this is
sacrifice was for naught.
really, really great. Really, really cool. I'm so, and there's something about the Chosen One being dead, being destroyed, whether or not they saw their destiny through. It's like the remnants still want that destiny to be sought through.
Gosh. I love that. My character definitely like really admired this person as a hero and wants to like, but thought that like their mistake, because I got the rebellious blade, was that they tried to like quote unquote change the system from the inside, right? Because like I'm driven by peace, so I think all war is bad. So I'm thinking my character has kind of a martyr complex and is like, I will be the one to do. I will take on all the evil of the world, and I will be violent. I will be bloody. I will kill everyone responsible for this. So to create a world in which no killing ever has to happen.
Of
So I think my
course.
character is rather dogmatic about violence. Yeah.
I adore that. That fits so beautifully, and I like the idea that maybe because there's like this battle where this person died, like you spent some time alone and maybe even like pulling away from war, and slowly you got brought back together, like encountering the suit, encountering the dog, and it's like, oh boy, I'm carrying this legacy a lot more than I wanted. That's really great and
I
really,
love
really
this.
cool. I'm loving all of these characters to start with. I now want to cut over towards making the blades. Every blade has 3 blessings to it. Basically, these are the cool superpowers that your blades have. There will be a minor, a major, and a miraculous blessing. I need you to roll a D100 3 times and get
Okay.
those results.
Wow.
Basically, because there are fewer results for miraculous than there are for major and minor, what we are going to do is start there, and for every valid number, I will tell you what the miraculous blessing is. Who has their 3 rolled up?
I got mine.
All right. Drew, what are your 3?
My minor is 85.
Your minor is let's so we're starting with miraculous. I'm just going
we're
to tell
gonna-
you what all 3 potential powers are called.
34.
34 is champion blade.
75 and 85.
75 is not filled in, and 85 does not filled in. So hey,
we'll go with 34.
guess what? You're going with 34. Awesome. The champion blade ability is... There we go. There are 6 gems embedded in this sword's hilt, which are capable of holding miraculous power. If you defeat another knight in combat, you gain a single use of that blade's miraculous blessing. You may only store up to 6 slots worth of blessings. You may store multiple copies of the same blessing, but they must be won in a legitimate contest.
That's perfect because my blade wishes to be the only one. To
yeah,
defeat
to-
all of
Yes,
them.
no, that's actually
blades.
perfect. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. And this does mean you don't need to destroy another blade to do this. So, like, literally, the suit of armor could fight one of you to copy your blessing. But they do have to legitimately defeat you. Okay. So that's one of your blessings decided. Let's get the miraculous blessings for our other 2 players. See, what are your 3 numbers?
My 3 numbers are a 13, a 50, and a 67.
All right. It looks like all of those are legitimate. The 67 is Death Mask Blade. The 13 is the Chronotop. And the 15 is the Phantom Prison. Of those, which sounds most exciting to you and thematically linked to your character?
Well, damn.
We made it
Well,
really hard.
damn. I know, you
Yeah,
did
they're
make it
all
really
cool.
difficult.
All of them are cool.
They're all really cool. Either the Death Mask or the Chronotop.
Okay. I'm going to check to make sure that you'd be able to activate both. Okay, yeah, you can activate both, so I will just describe them to you and you can decide from there. Remove a small metal top from the hilt of your sword and spin it. Time will stop for as long as the top is able to spin. You may touch objects and people to unfreeze them, but they will freeze again as soon as you lose contact with them. When the top stops spinning, objects will resume movement with the momentum they had prior to when they were unfrozen. And
Interesting.
Death Mask Blade is touching your blade to the corpse of a human creates a mask of that person's face, regardless of when they died. You can hold up to 5 death masks at a time. When you place the mask on your face changes to the copied face, in which case I think the full body of that slain form. The disguise
Oh my God.
stands up to scrutiny for both mundane and magical means of investigation. You can replace one mask for a new one at any time.
Okay, we know that we're doing that one because I have definitely taken the hero's face.
Yeah!
And I'm pretending to be them, but I'm their dog.
Oh my God, which means you
Were
had
pretending
to kill
them?
them.
Or at least the
Or they
blade.
died during the
Or the
conflict.
blade. Or
I
guess
think the
could've
blade
killed
killed them.
The cursed blade.
Of course the
Yeah,
cursed blade
throwing
killed
it.
them.
They had to
Duh.
take it out into
Duh.
the solar system, and they got eaten by a black hole where they put the blade. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that is great.
And then I came back, and I'm normal.
And you're fine, but you really like sticks now.
Totally fine. Connie, what are your 3 results?
I got 3 9s. So I got a 79, I got a 69, a 79, and a 99.
Okay, there's no
Not the 99.
There's no 69, there's no 79,
Oh.
and there's no 99 result. Which means
Oh, no.
oh wait, I think no, that doesn't appear to be meant for 69. So yeah, I think I will give you the next closest untouched effect, which I have as the Pristine Soul Blade. This blade will always find the most pristine and undamaged souls, regardless of the damage or strain inflicted upon the wielder's soul. The blade can determine and find and show the souls of others, especially pristine. The blade also gives off an aura of intense goodness that can be felt by everyone in a 30-foot radius. This is one of our miraculous blessings. That feels a little underpowered.
That's what I wrote today. So
yeah. Okay. That's why it's not numerically done. Then I'm actually gonna move you down 1 to 65 to the Heart Gem Blade. And this is actually perfect for a 69 result anyway. You project your innermost feelings and desires to everyone in a 30-foot radius. They feel what you feel. Understand your emotions as if they were your own. This does not automatically mean they care, but you can know for a fact that they know it and feel it. And that is a spend 5 ability.
Ooh, okay.
Into
it.
All of the
I
spends,
would love to. Yeah, that's great.
Everybody on their character sheet has effort, and your abilities do cost effort to spend. I am just going to go over to the character sheets and update that. Well, I'll update those later because we'll have other discussions that we're going to be doing. Let's go into the major blessings. And this time we are going to start with Connie. Connie, you said we used up the 69, so we've got 79 and 99.
Yeah, if there's a 99, I'll spend it here.
There is a 99. It is called the Painter's Revenge. And it is, when swung, this blade gives off waves of color and turns blood into paint. Every creature defeated by this blade turns into an excellent portrait.
Oh.
Wow. This, again, we're getting into, this one might need some editorial because that feels underpowered for the major powers that we've been establishing. So I am just going to highlight this because this is a live playtest. And instead, I am going to say you can choose either Symbiotic Warrior or Duelist. Symbiotic Warrior is spend 4, split off a copy of this blade that recognizes a person of your choice as its knight. This copy can activate your minor power for a number of times equal to your level. While your target is wielding this blade, they are able to use the minor blessing of the blade. You can instead elect to gain use of their major blessing if they are a Century Knight, using HP instead of effort. Every even level, roll for an additional minor blessing for your blade, which I am going to copy that, put that down for your major blessing.
What's the duelist one?
Duelist is on spending 3. You can compel an opponent to see you see into a personal duel. They will receive a penalty equal to your level if they attempt any action that does not target you. You can also spend 3 to gain a bonus equal to half your level rounded up against opponents that you are dueling.
I think I'd prefer that one for
you
the
prefer
major.
Duelist? All right.
Yep. Feels more thematic.
Yep. Let me just put that in there. Excellent. No,
I think
that was
you
the wrong
you
one again.
pasted that. Yeah.
Please let me just copy the thing that I would like to copy. No, what? Oh my goodness. Okay, I know what happened. We're laughing at something that happened to a character sheet, which the audience can't appreciate.
There we go.
I certainly can. All right. We are now going to move on to C. C, what numbers do you have remaining?
I believe the death mask was my 67, so I believe I have a 13 and a 50 left.
Okay, 13 and 50. 13 is eidetic reflex. You may copy the results of any roll you witness by spending 4 effort.
Ooh.
And
What's the other one?
50 would be Psychic Punch. For spending 2 with a look, you can deal 1d6 physical damage to anything you can see as though you struck it with a fist.
Puppy dog eyes. Yep.
The other one could work
Yep.
too because you're so good at mimicry.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. But puppy dog psychic eyes is really funny.
I think I'll do the mimicry one, the 13.
Okay.
There's some nice good utility for that, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we are going to do the mimicry.
Welcome to my character sheet.
And that was 13. The fun of watching people in real time copy and paste information. Excellent. And Drew, what numbers do you have remaining?
I'm going to go with 75 for my major.
75, and that is the Traveler's Blade. By spending 5, any inanimate object you touch with this blade becomes mobile and will take you to any location you have been before by speaking the name of the place to the newly animated object.
My brothers.
Yeah, makes total sense.
Oh my god, yeah, literally.
Bridge.
Yep,
take
that's
me.
perfect.
And now we come down to the minor blessings. I am going to go to C first because I remember that you had a 50 remaining.
Yes, indeed.
And this ability is called the Mark's Mark. Drop this sword, and its blade will always fall in the direction of the wealthiest person within 10 feet per level.
That's so funny.
That's really funny.
Yeah, it will help you find rich people.
That's so funny.
Well, I want to kill rich people, so this
That's
is
true.
Yeah.
This is really helpful, actually.
Okay. Yeah, and that one doesn't even have a cost. So we are going to move on to Connie. What was the number that you had remaining?
79.
All right, for 79. Let me just scroll to the right place. That is the Winter Blade. While you are the knight for this blade, you are the embodiment of winter.
Oh, gosh.
I'm like the Lich King with skulls and winter shit.
Describe how the season manifests itself and signs on your body. And when you spend 3, you can bring winter weather with you wherever you go within 100 feet per level.
Well, I think I died or I was close to dying. So I feel like I'm kind of undead in a way, like cold to the touch, literally physically in Winter's Manifest. And like the little demon guy that like gave me the deal could be like a winter demon or something. I would love for that to be
that's
true.
good.
I don't know what the factions of hell are like here, but whatever the
you're
coldest
making
part
them
is.
up, as we go. Because,
Lovely.
Everything is unestablished until people start playing the game.
Great. Then I think like the cold touch of death's embrace or whatever is like whoever the demon serves, and that mark is upon me. Gosh, I think, oh my god, we're gonna lean full on anime, right?
Mhm.
So I think my hair was black, it turned white.
Yes.
So like
yes,
from the
yes.
roots, or like it's almost fully white. Like I still have like a black kind of like sides, right? But the top is like fully white,
Very
and
good.
my eyes were like black, but they turned an icy blue. And my skin I think has become like devoid. I almost look like a vampire, right? So there's still like melanin in the skin, but it looks like grayed out almost.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I'm like cold to the touch.
I love you step the plants start to gray and
Yes,
wither.
where I
Yeah.
touch, the plants gray and wither, and like form like little frost,
Frost.
crystals.
Yeah, just
and when I
little.
step away, it's like they breathe again, or I just leave that trail in my wake when this is
yeah.
activated.
That's so cool.
I'm into that. Yeah. Yep.
All right. So, we have your Blade's blessings now for the most part, but because this playtest, we wanted to give everybody playing a little bit more options, we're going to be starting at an advanced level. The way leveling works in this game is through feats. Basically, instead of gaining experience for things, there are like vague kind of descriptors for accomplishments. And as soon as your knight hits one that you feel should be a part of their story, we add that feat onto your list of accomplishments. Because we're just going to start with randomized background, I would like people to roll a d20 4 times. If you get any repeat results, just add 1 to the results, and even if that's 20, because we can go above 20. All right.
D20 4 times, you said?
4 times, yes.
Excellent.
And
Well, my D20 is playing nice with me today.
I can see, I can see that
Yeah.
Connie has, or no, not Connie, C has finished their rolls. So let's go with you first. And I can see these results here. Your first result is tied to the feat, acquire a vice. So that is, you have, what this could be for a dog, I don't know. And I truly love
Learn to be a bad
contemplating it.
boy.
Yeah. You,
I like eating food off the table now, and no one can stop me.
I love the fact
Don't
that
shit inside the house.
you look like the chosen
Don't tell me
one.
what to
Like
do.
you look like a person.
I know, and I can now.
Yeah, but it's like still something that was ingrained in them from like really young that you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is great.
That was
That's
that
so
was
funny.
crossing like a major moral bridge for you, and I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Nobody has sprayed me with a water bottle or told me bad dog in a really long time, and it's kind of gotten to my head a little bit. I mean, I get to play with the vices of humanity now.
Yeah.
Oh, poor puppy dog.
And
No.
your next result is shun and indulgence.
Ooh.
So yeah, this is like another pivotal moment where there's something that you used to like to do that you no longer do now that you have gone this far on your journey as a knight.
I can't do most of my dog behaviors now because I'm supposed to be the chosen one. So I guess there's no more barking at squirrels or chasing birds.
Oh yeah.
No more fetch, because when I played fetch the last time, everyone was so mad at me. Just because I fetched this blade, everyone was so mad, and now I
Yeah,
can't play fetch anymore.
So many problems.
So are the indulgences all of your dog-like traits that you have to suppress?
Yeah, you just have
They-
to.
they may
shun
be,
your
yeah.
dog
Oh, that's so
instincts.
sad.
That's really sad.
Yeah,
Um,
it's deeply sad.
You also got a 19, which is tied to deny your aid. There is a time when you presumably wanted to help somebody, or maybe like would normally have helped somebody, and you refused, and that became a pivotal moment that helped grow your character.
Okay, I'm gonna think on that for a minute. Might tie that into somebody else's story.
And your final result.
Do these feats add any mechanical bonuses, or are
No,
they just
these
sort
are
of like
just part of your history. That is all. That is
Nice.
like knowing the story that your character took to get you where you are. Because like in the game, you will have this feats list, and you can go like, this session I took a life, so I'm deciding that is an important life that I took, and going to bring that into my story of like this becomes a pivotal moment in the story of my knight. And your last result, C, is 16. Please a teacher. There is some teacher that you really pleased that was part of like, again, this is a major moment. This brought you to being the type of knight that you are right now.
Well, I made the chosen one really, really happy. I was the best dog. I was the best hero's dog ever.
Oh,
I
so
was
like
so
that is like
good.
literally your first thing that you accomplished. Is like I think
Mhm.
you were told by the hero to do something, and like you did it.
I was the best.
That's great.
Okay.
That's great.
Okay.
Connie,
Whew.
what are your results?
From lowest to highest, 9, 9, 11, 15, and 20.
9, 11, 15, and 20. All right. Your 9 is learn a hidden truth. So you learned some sort of secret. Your 11 is vanquish a villain. 15 is submit to a master. Oh. And 20 is free a prisoner, which a lot of those feel extremely well tied to
No,
this
all of this
character.
makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I don't even need to go necessarily into super deep detail. Learn a hidden truth. This could be pretty early on. I honestly liked how they were structured. Or the submit to a master could be the first one.
Yeah,
actually.
that
I'm
could
thinking
be as well.
chronologically. Yes, I like forged a pact with this demon servant who perhaps is kind of like a warlock patron situation where they're kind of an envoy of like a bigger dude downstairs, you know what I mean? So that was the master I submitted to. I forged a pact with them. Bam Bam, demon servant guy. Vanquish a villain was maybe like the second thing I did. I like was super juiced on this power and I killed someone,
Yeah.
you know, with it. Maybe some like wealthy aristocrat. Like I think my character's main goal is to go after like the big guys that's funding all of this, like truly in charge of the war. And the guy I killed, the villain I killed was like maybe a minion or like the next, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like the
Like
idea
the
that they were
big
just
bads have layers
some,
between them.
like merchant
Yep.
or something that like pushed for this war because like they were profiting from it, and you were just like,
Yes,
you're not insulated from that, actually.
Yes, and I think I slew this dude, but it didn't stop the gears of war necessarily, right?
No, of
Like in some
course.
ways, I think maybe it made things worse, because he was like a pretty important player in a lot of this. So I think I went on like some more adventures after I killed this guy, being like, oh, I can't just solve things by killing people, but that's all I know. I'm a soldier, and now I have this weapon made for killing. What do I do? What do I do? And I think maybe learn a hidden truth, was about me stumbling upon knowledge of like how the big guys on top are truly like maybe they're working together in some way. Like I uncovered like the glimpse of a global conspiracy, you know, about how like if you go up high enough, you'll see that the people down here really work for the same people. You know what I mean? But I don't have solid evidence, just whisperings of it. So I think the hidden truth is like the true way of how the world works or something, like some conspiracy.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. About how the elites all work together to like to oppress the people or something. And free a prisoner, I think I could have helped a peasant rebellion of some kind.
Yeah.
Or like I helped the people in some way. Maybe there were some freedom fighters who got jailed. I was passing through and I decided to lend my aid. And I realized that I could use my violence not just to kill, but to also help and defend and liberate.
I like that.
And that I should do both. Yeah.
And
There we
Drew,
go.
since I know you have access to the same document that I have, what feats did you roll up?
I rolled an 11, a 2, a 3, and a 4, which is give life, save a life, destroy something utterly, and vanquish a villain. And I think because I have the Traveler's Blade major, words, they're hard, ability, I think my suit of armor has given life to other suits of armor.
Oh.
And like when I make them raise them an inanimate object of armor, I tell them like the place they need to go is eternity or something like that, like to give them like a sense of purpose or something to go forward into life. And so it could very well be that like sentient armor, you'll find them throughout the world, and they are created by this particular suit of armor.
Fascinating. Is that something that you constantly do, or you did for a while and stopped
Either I did it for a
doing?
while, or like I don't do it as much anymore. I think it taxes this suit of armor rather fantastically.
I was thinking like psychically this
Psychically.
could cause some problem, like especially if like it's meant to be like a transportation type deal.
Yes.
When you give them like, oh yeah, go towards freedom or go towards eternity, it's like, what does that mean? I can never fulfill my purpose.
Truth. So I don't think he does it like all the time, but I think there are times when they do this particular thing. So I think that's where they give life. They're about duty, honor, and justice. So they save lives all the time, I think, and destroy something utterly. I think they destroyed whatever like mercenary company or army that killed the general. They sought justice for the general and like brought that particular group of people to justice in their opinion, and destroyed them utterly. And vanquishing a villain is the person who led that.
Okay, cool. So you did a reverse John Wick on
I did.
the army that killed the chosen one.
Yeah, it in that movie, John Wick dies and the gun his suit gets up.
It's not the it's his dog.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the dog.
No, that's Leica.
Oh, I guess that's like a yeah.
It's his cool suit. Just stands up and
Yeah.
picks up a gun and then goes.
It's the car. It's the car because the car also got destroyed.
That's right. So it's the car that goes and does it.
Great. Well, that's wild. We are now coming up on the last bit of world building that we do before we actually start playing, and that is the way antagonists work in this game. Is you're going to get to put your special fingerprints all over a specific antagonist that you're going to face for this. And the only antagonists that I have filled out for this adventure thus far are the Star Conquerors. They are a strange empire from beyond the stars that seeks to colonize and dominate the universe. So the first thing that we need to work out are aesthetics. Connie, I'm going to allow you to ask for you to choose two, and your options are luminescence, metallics, neons, umbral, sparkling, lensed, blurred, shifting, slimy, and ultraviolet.
They are definitely going to be blurred and sparkling. I think there's something angelic about them, and even if you look them dead on, it's like they're just out of focus.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Really like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And sparkling. Okay. We are going to jump over to C. C, you are choosing one or two options for their silhouette here. And their silhouette is crustacean, insectoid, cephalopodal, fungal, mechanical, ethereal, amorphous, swarming, flawless, and sterile.
Ooh. I mean, I like playing in the ethereal realm.
Ooh, okay.
I think there's also something really nice, potentially, if we wanted to go robotic, about like robotic angel that's like out of focus.
I'm on this one actually, because the instant we started going angelic, I was and because there's some demon connections here too, both obviously with my character and with Drew's too, with the demonic sigils on the blade. This idea that like weirdly the demons are the good guys, and like these angel conquerors maybe are even like this planet is a mess of sin and evil and violence that these demons have done. So we're going to come here, we're going to eradicate, or we're going to colonize y'all and make you a part of our perfect robotic, like paradise kind of situation.
Love it.
That makes so much sense, and I love it dearly.
My character's an abomination of that. Like my
Yes,
my
yes,
character
you are.
wait,
You're
so
an abomination to the angels.
it's the demons trying to do what the angels do. Oh gosh, that's so interesting.
Oh, that fucks so hard. That's awesome.
I do want there to be a moment in our campaign where we kind of go like, are we the bad
Are we the bad
guys? Like genuinely, like, are we?
I love it. Drew, you are choosing a danger for them. And for this, you can only choose one of the following: sharp, toxic, hulking, or smothering.
I think it's got to be sharp. I think if we're going angelic and we're going robotic, we're looking sharp angles.
Lots of blades.
Very Art Deco.
Blurry and ethereal. These things are scary.
What if some of their foot soldiers are called shrikes because they impale their victims like on their own bodies or something, like almost like mechs?
Immediately naming one of the classes of enemy because that's great. Those are shrikes now.
Yes.
Now to really flesh them out, I need you to prioritize a few concepts. And what I think is going to be the fairest way to do this. One of you will get to select the top priority. One of you will get to select the bottom priority. The other one will do second highest and second lowest.
Okay.
Who wants top priority? Who wants middles, and who wants low?
I'll take middles.
Okay.
I'll take the low.
All right.
Okay, then I'll take top.
Let's start with Drew then. The low priority, I believe, is going to be, that is what would be most advantageous to your group. So here are the categories that you can prioritize. They are connection to the blades, interest in the planet, coherence, malice of intent, and form.
And this is because it's the lowest one to our enemy. It is the closest to us.
It would be like the lowest to your enemy for things like their connection or intent. Like it looks like it would be the worst intents or the least advantageous for your group.
Let's just go with the top one. We'll just go with connection to blades.
Connection to the blades. Okay. The Star Conquerors have never encountered the Century Blades before. Even with their sprawling empire, the origin of the cosmic blade is still a mystery.
Interesting.
I love that, actually. No, that's actually perfect. I love that.
Yeah, this is very exciting to me. Connie, your remaining categories are interest in the planet, coherence, malice of intent, and form. What do you want to give top priority?
I'm actually watching the stream right now, so I can kind of see the list.
Oh, yeah.
If you wouldn't mind slowly scrolling down from interest in planet. Okay.
Interest in planet. Yeah, let's see if we can get that centered for you.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I'm seeing a range here. I don't think interest in planet. I don't think coherence. Maybe intent.
It might be intent.
I think intent because I don't know if I want them to look like people either. I think intent.
I like intent, and to read that out loud for the stream, the intent of the Star Conquerors is going to be they offer a kind of enlightenment. They wish to uplift this world to a new psychic and spiritual height that may not be peaceful or desirable for transition, but it is not rooted in malice specifically.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That feels accurate to what we were talking about. Like they're like, we want to enlighten you all, kind of like. That's a very colonizer, like missionary.
Yeah, this is
of
missionary stuff, like 1,000%.
They weep
that feels
gold
right.
as they kill us because they're sad about it.
Yep.
You know, like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so C, you are going to be able to choose the 2 and the 4. Your remaining options are interest in planet, coherence, and form.
Let's see. What's 4 for coherence?
4 for coherence is the Star Conquerors think in ways that are nearly incomprehensible. Planning with a hive mind, super sapience, or a rudimentary pseudo thought of a virus. They lack so many emotional fragilities, and they are hard to predict.
That makes sense to me, I think.
Yeah, I love that actually.
Angel logic.
Excellent. And then for your 2, you've got interest in planet and form.
2 for interest in planet.
2 for interest in planet. Your world is being kept secret from Legion Command. It is either the work of a benevolent force outside the Empire or an ambitious and greedy general looking to take the world for themselves.
I like that. I feel like that could be interesting in relation to the swords, because the swords are here.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's interesting. Also in conversation with like generally the rest of them have no idea that the swords exist. I kind of pinged on the benevolent faction of the angels. What if the angels that are currently colonizing us are like, let us colonize you, because if the rest of them hear about you, they're gonna just come here to eradicate you. So like we're trying to civilize you so you don't get wiped
complicated.
out.
But I like that because that
Yeah.
actually means diplomacy could technically be an option with these Star Conquerors too,
Yes.
which is kind of cool.
But they're kind of unfathomable. So the way they attempt diplomacy, maybe they're like, death isn't culturally the same for them. So when they kill us, it doesn't ping as like death or a bad thing.
Well,
like,
yeah, your soul.
I don't know,
still
like, there could be,
exists.
like,
That's
layers
all,
of-
like all they care about is the soul, right? So like you have this gross little mortal body, but we kind of want to get you out of that anyway because you can't be enlightened if you're attached to meat.
Yeah, we gotta unshell you. You know what I mean?
And for form, we have a 3 here. The Star Conquerors are rarely, if ever, humanoid in physiology. They are closer to beasts, insects, or machines. Their bodies make them predators or weapons.
Perfect.
Perfect. Beautiful.
Totally fits. I am just going to randomly select some questions to ask y'all. Let me just change that to numbers so it is easier to roll. All right. I am going to go with Connie.
It's a Connie.
Who or what leads the Star Conquerors and what drives them to conquest?
I think it is a divine piece of code
Oh, yeah.
that
So
all of them
good.
are driven by. Like they all just know that what they need to do, right?
Yeah.
What drives them to conquest? I think it's the desire to spread the code and make the entire universe perfect, just like
Sure.
they are. Yeah.
That's great.
Nice.
And the next goes to C. C, how do the Star Conquerors travel between worlds, and what limits their ability to mount a full-scale invasion?
They travel by will,
Oh, good.
like angelic will. Like they can just turn around and be in the space that they want to be, but I don't think there are very many of them.
Oh,
They have
cool.
few numbers.
Oh, so interesting.
Does that mean the rest are drones? Like the rest are.
I think they have like they can take pieces of them and push them off. But once they're separated from the whole of the machine, then they can't travel the way that they do, which is just through like slipping through like time space fabric reality that doesn't exist in the same way for them to appear wherever they want to appear.
Oh gosh.
That's interesting. So like a fleet of them would be like multiple of some of like the larger forms that they could possibly have.
Yeah.
The only things that we'll be able to define are what their minions, which we're definitely calling Shrikes, their soldiers, and their soldiers are, because that's all we have information for right now. But like, I think that's really, really cool that these are broken fragments of like some central being or figure.
Kind of like plucking off a feather
Yeah.
to make, and like If we're thinking about an angel.
Our minds are shaking hands right now. Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Drew,
Yes.
I'm gonna let you choose 2 powers for them.
Ooh.
So those powers are swarming. Star Conquerors enhance their impact die when they outnumber their opponents. Parasitic, by spending 1, Star Conquerors can corrupt NPCs and defeated PCs to add to their legions. Any injury from them leaves a poison, which is an effect that grows by 1d4 a day. Once the creature dies, it joins the legion. Mass destruction. Star Conquerors have technology or magic capable of untold devastation. Lords and groups of soldiers can guarantee annihilation within a specific area if they complete a ritual or use a complicated device. It utterly destroys a 1d6 mile radius when they have access to enough of a particular resource. And a preparation threshold of within, looks like, 10 days or something like that. I'd have to read too much of my own writing to quote that accurately. Then there is imperviousness. It gains them 2 defense. Tactical. Star Conquerors have a terrifying intelligence for violence and conquest. When they initiate an attack, they roll 2 risk dice and take the higher results. And finally, psionic. Soldiers, lords, and terrors can use the power of their minds to move physical objects and interact with other beings on a psychic plane.
I get 2 of these, right?
You get 2.
I think psionics works very well for what we're talking about. And I also think mass destruction.
Yeah.
I think that's the threat that is constantly being held over us. So we were talking about that earlier, about how they're like, we just want to help you, because if not, they will like incinerate your planet. Like, so I think that's those are the 2 that are the powers of the Star Empire.
Excellent. Okay, perfect. Now, scrolling down, Connie, you get to decide a weakness for them. One of their weaknesses. Their weakness choices you've got are elemental. There is an elemental force that nullifies the armor of Star Conquerors. When attacking with this element, remove any extra armor from their defense and subtract 1 from their defense score. The next is environmental. There are atmospheric conditions that greatly aggrieve Star Conquerors. All attacks made in these conditions have an upgraded impact. Provocation. Due to pride, ideology, or instinct, Star Conquerors can be goaded into impulsive attacks or hasty retreats if met with a specific threat or temptation.
I actually think elemental, but I think it's a very rare element that is difficult to find and in scarce supply on our world. I think it's star metal. I think star metal is the only thing that can bypass.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's great.
A gift for me personally.
Mwah, because I love you.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
Okay.
Gorgeous, beautiful. Now we get to define some of the elements that we just talked about. And the first is there is a threat that the Star Conquerors are aware of, and they're aware of in other places. I'm going to turn to C. You get to choose 2 of the following. They have encountered this threat on other worlds. They have an ideological or instinctual aversion to this threat. They have faced this threat on this world before. Their aversion is grounded in fear, or their aversion is founded in respect.
Oh, 2?
2.
All right. It's got to be the demons. It's got to be the relation to the demons. And I love the idea that they have an ideological aversion to the threat, to interacting with demons in any way, shape, or form.
Yep. And
and then I think just to be strange and interesting, that aversion is founded in. Ah, gosh, I don't know. I feel like the respect is very interesting,
I think
but
that's
perhaps
pretty cool.
incorrect. It could be really cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I like that
Yeah.
a lot. I think that's a really neat hook, especially for like an angels versus demons thing.
Mhm.
We're going to let Drew determine behavior here.
Okay.
So you get to choose two of the following. They will engage with the threat preferentially. They will make efforts to avoid contact with a threat. They consider this threat their only legitimate concern on this world, apart from blades. They have weaponry designed to battle the threat specifically. They will create alliances to deal with the threat.
Ooh, I think they create alliances. I think that's
Mm,
very interesting
Mhm.
to think of what peoples on this planet are like. Yes, please. And I also think that they will engage the threat preferentially.
Okay, so if they see a demon, they're going for that demon. Perfect. Connie, what about the design of soldiers and lords? So, like some of the more significant movements or troops, I suppose, within the Star Conqueror Empire, lets us know that they expect to face this threat directly.
I immediately had an idea, which is that I think they're kind of blurred, so we can't really see, right? Like
Yeah, they're
their sense
shiny
of
and
reality is not
blurry,
the same as
yeah.
ours. They're shiny and blurry, but we all know that we can sense an angel is here when it suddenly gets a little hot, and we can feel the heat of a flame because they always carry almost like a chamber of fire inside them because demons are cold and angels are hot.
Oh yeah, I love
That's
that.
so cool.
Yeah. And if so, this is kind of like not part of this, but I think star metal can hurt demons too.
That makes sense. That makes
Ooh,
perfect,
yeah.
perfect sense.
Yeah. It's like a third secret
It's the
thing.
perfect temperature. It's right between. It's the perfect
Hot and
between.
cold. Yep.
Drew,
Yes.
does this threat, the demons, compete for sustenance, resources, or both?
Oh, I think it's sustenance. They're competing for souls.
Okay. Okay. Speaking of
Angels want to
sustenance,
save the souls. Demons want to damn them.
let's define sustenance. So we'll go to Connie first here. I want you to choose two of the following. Angels can subdue victims to consume. Their consumption creates a harmful environment to the denizens of this world. They can go long periods without sustenance. Their sustenance can only come from sapient life, and this world produces a particularly desirable variety of their sustenance.
The last two. It has to be sapient, and something about this world is special.
Oh, so the souls on this world are like
Yeah.
extra cool and useful.
Yeah.
Delicious.
And they've interfaced with the swords
They
for so long.
have.
I feel like that
They
changes
have.
you. I like the idea that the
does.
swords have somehow changed the makeup of life on this world a little bit.
That's
That's really
really
cool.
neat.
I mean,
Maybe if it were like lusher in some way. I like the idea of the swords being like good, quote unquote, in some way, insofar as they like encourage life and they give all this color and vibrance.
And magic
yeah,
And
variety.
magic.
and
Yes.
desire and connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be really beautiful, and I think humans have made very beautiful things by wielding the swords, but have also gone to war because of them. Yeah, and demons maybe are kind of in some ways opposed to angels insofar as I see them as kind of like opposites in a lot of ways. One, I think they have a ton of foot soldiers in the way that angels don't. Like they just kind of overwhelm in numbers, and they kind of maybe got here first and like have a foothold in. But the angels are now coming.
That makes sense. And I'll bet a lot of people have kind of looked at the swords as like, oh, clearly this is supposed to be our weapon against these demons. Because left to their own devices, it's not like the demons are great. You certainly don't want to be colonized by angels, but you don't want a bunch of demons hanging around either.
Yeah.
Probably just prefer to
Neither
be
of
left
them
alone.
have. Exactly. Both of them have agendas and want to use humans and the swords.
C, I'm going to have you define some limitations on their consumption of this sustenance, choosing two. An undernourished angel will enter a dormant or a berserker state. They require special equipment or refinement in order to feed. Reproduction depends on even larger quantities of their sustenance. They cannot store what they consume, and there is a way to taint or corrupt what they consume.
All right, I'm going to go with the second one. They require special equipment or refinement. I think the soul must be purified or perfected in the way that they desire, right? In order for them to have it.
Yeah, like you literally need to... maybe they are like introducing a religion. It's like, yeah, if you undertake these sacraments or whatever, when you die, your soul will be pure enough for consumption. Ooh.
I'm almost imagining I'm thinking about wool fiber because I've processed wool fiber before, like on a spindle on the wheel, and like taking the soul once it's gone and like fiber artsing it. You're like putting it around on the wheel, like in the machine to purify it, and then being able to take it. That's my little.
That's messed up.
That makes sense.
That is so
Something I'd like
messed
to
up.
add.
I truly love that. I mean, again, as the metaphor for colonization, this is perfect for the Star Conquerors. The other options that you have are undernourished Star Conquerors will enter a dormant or berserker state. Reproduction depends on even larger quantities of their sustenance. They cannot store what they consume, and there is a way to taint or corrupt what they consume.
That last one's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's like having a thorn in your hamburger. So you can hurt them if they try to consume your soul before it's perfectly purified.
Which I think probably is how the demon versus angel thing started. Like there's a way for demons to put influence on sapient life that makes it so that angels can never
That taints
consume
it,
them.
yeah.
Yep.
So angels have to prep their food first. They have to come here, wipe out the demons, purify all the souls, and then eat them all.
Yeah. Or
Yep.
prepare them all to be eaten, because again, like this could just be the supply chain for their crazy empire.
That's true. Like they're like, oh, humans, we want you to live good lives. So when you die, we can eat your souls and they will be good and nutritious for us. So really, humans, we're not even eradicating you before you die anyway.
Yeah.
Your immortal soul will just be ours.
Yeah. Gosh. And we've kind of already answered some of the open-ended questions here. What needs to be killed, destroyed, or harvested to produce Star Conqueror sustenance? Why, a human soul with purified sacraments needs to be killed and harvested. What does their sustenance affect? How does their sustenance affect their ability to set up clandestine or large-scale operations? Ooh. That's interesting. Does anybody have an answer for that one?
I feel like
Okay.
go for it. No, go for it, C.
We might be on the same page that they can only set up large scale
Yeah.
production in places where there are souls to be harvested, to be molded and harvested. So any planet that doesn't have, I think we said it earlier, something about like life on
Sapient
it. Connie,
life,
you answered that one. Sapient life on
Sapient
it
life,
is not for them.
Okay.
That probably means that they usher lower, quote unquote, but less intelligence into
into sapients just so they can prep them
Yes.
for consumption. Exactly.
consumption.
They create
like
life in order to eat it.
Yeah.
Eat it. Oh, almost like the engineers in the Prometheus verse, right? In like the Alien verse. And they come back, but they're like, oh, you've deviated from our planet, we'll eradicate you. But the same idea of teaching and like giving tools and technology. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Woof.
Okay, we didn't end up giving them a weakness around atmospheric conditions, but you know what? Let's do this anyway. It is part of the creation, even if it means we're going to have a very short session. There are
Sometimes character creation is the game, and that's fine with me personally.
Well, it is fine with me, although I've run character creation before. So, we can always invite y'all back at some point to capitalize on what we've created here.
We would be happy to come back.
So there are atmospheric conditions that are essentially on this planet that are bad for the Star Conquerors or angels. Drew, I'm going to have you choose two. the commonality of these conditions. They are common to specific regions. They are common to specific times. They vary in intensity. These conditions are everywhere, but they have special equipment to deal with it, or the angels are encountering these conditions for the first time on this world.
Oh, gosh. It's always more interesting for the first and last time. So let's go for they're encountering something on this world for the first time. And it might be the Sentry Blades, because we know for the fact they have no concept of them.
Right,
originally.
and you mentioned something about like I think it was Connie who mentioned there's something about like the blades themselves being present on this world have like changed it in a big way.
I mean, they've
Yes.
contaminated the souls of this world in some big way.
Yeah.
And variety is the spice of life, so they vary in intensity.
Okay. So the atmospheric conditions that are averse to the Star Conquerors vary in intensity. Now we get to sensitivity. I'm going to give this over to C. C, choose two of these. These atmospheric conditions cause pain or damage, alter their perception, negatively impact important abilities or weapons, affects their armor or protection, or gets worse the longer they are exposed to it.
Ooh. I like the idea that it affects their armor protection.
Okay.
I like the idea that the blades have some effect on the angels.
Yeah.
And
So-
and I like the idea that it negatively impacts their important abilities or weapons.
Okay, cool.
Like if we think of the Sentry Blades as blades with desire and that have an effect on the things around them, it might affect the angels and the things that they are using in ways that they have never experienced before.
It might just be like that the Sentry Blades have some inherent tie to free will. If both demons and angels are kind of like affected by them, and these are outside forces that want to influence or corrupt or exploit, it's just, the Sentry Blades are like purely focused on life being able to exist on its own terms, which I think is delicious.
I really like that.
I like that
I really
too.
like
And I
that.
like the idea that the blades, are, literally as blades, they are a tool and a weapon that it
Can be used
they
in any way.
themselves, exactly, they represent power, but it's the people that wield them that determine what happens. Like the blades just give you the choice to do that.
Oh, yeah, that's so cool.
So they're neither good nor bad by themselves.
Well, I think because we've established that they're Sentry Blades, this question might already be answered is, when might these conditions be dangerous for denizens of this world? Hey, if these blades are levied against denizens of this world, they will also hurt them. So that
Yes.
makes perfect sense. The last thing that we need to define is a particular resource that is present on this world that the angels are interested in, that could be related to or completely apart from the souls that are their sustenance. Connie, choose two for availability of this resource. This is generally considered rare, precious, or hard to attain for denizens of this world. This substance is common for certain professions or social classes to have. This substance is finite and non-renewable. This substance is well known or studied, or this substance is found near or especially far from most settlements.
God. Okay, we're thinking about the planetary makeup of our world.
Yeah.
And we're thinking like kind of sci-fi core. So I'm thinking, what if it's like almost like a small galaxy? So there's like multiple planets in our world that unless folks mostly want to keep things on one world, which I'm also cool with. So because this resource, the substance I'm thinking, I kind of want it to be star metal. So I'm thinking that, or it's like star metal is a secret other thing that we never really define. I'm torn between the two, and I would love to have input from folks.
I have a pitch, which is adjacent to that, because the Sentry Blades, correct me if I'm wrong, in the lore of this world, have come down on a ship.
Yeah.
What
they
if
came
it was
down
the
on
fragment?
Cosmic Blade. Yeah.
Yeah. What if it was the pieces of the Cosmic Blade that are the resource, like that are just kind of like scattered all over the place, right?
Ooh, all over the
Like
place. Okay.
pieces of the thing that brought the swords to us.
Sure.
Okay, I like that a lot,
Yeah.
actually. Okay, so I kind of want to keep things on one world, one planet.
Yeah.
Then that's kind of what I'm tied to. Then I think it is finite and non-renewable because there's only so many pieces of a ship, and I think it is generally considered rare, precious, or hard to attain.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense. Then I'm gonna have C choose two of the following here. This substance is considered unstable or toxic, and these are for the properties of the substance. This substance has inherent magical properties. This substance reacts to different stimuli. This substance can easily change between states of matter, and this substance possesses a will or intelligence.
Ooh. Ha! Why is world building so much fun? Oh man. Okay. Oh man. I think. God. Damn it. There's.
It's so hard. It's so hard to choose.
It's really hard. It's really hard to choose. I think I like it reacts to different stimuli.
Okay.
I find that very compelling and very interesting. Cool. And then I am having a lot of trouble deciding whether it has inherent magical properties or whether it possesses a will or intelligence of its own.
I have a pitch for you because I think that some of the swords have been set up as possessing, if not like sapience, then a will. What if the ship itself doesn't? It was simply the vehicle for carrying the swords. And that is what kind of distinguishes the pieces of a ship from the different swords that are scattered.
Okay, I like that. I do, however, think it's magical.
Sure.
Mhm.
Inherent magical properties. Okay. Drew,
Yes.
what signs does this substance leave behind when it has been present?
I think it's distortions in space time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think it it's the stuff and matter at which the angels move by will. It's the same path as that. So we're looking at like distortions in space time.
Oh, that's really, really interesting, especially for this whole world to have just been like injected with a bunch of this stuff randomly.
Which means that you can it's full space and time, which means that you can walk into one place and come out a completely different one.
And Drew, the other question here is, what new terror will the angels be capable of if they amass enough of this resource?
Oh gosh. I think they have control of space. Like we've said, they can move by will, they can move by space. They do not have control of time.
Oh, Jesus.
Uh-oh. I'm afraid.
Get the sword ship and use it as a key to unlock time powers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they can go back to the beginning of time and make everything them.
And make everything from the start. Oh no. Hold on. That's bad. Uh-oh. By bad I mean really good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
terrifying.
That's excellent. And it's just like, there's just so many, like, it's convoluted enough, all of these parts together, that this could actually be like an actual anime.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
we think the demons are the people are the bad guys, the demons, the swords, now they're angels. Oh, they're here for colonization. No, they're missionaries. Oh, they want to conquer. Actually, it's about time magic. It's like all of these things coming in,
and
right?
the soul and this and that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yep,
that's
yep,
very,
yep,
very
yep.
good.
It's perfect anime. Perfect anime.
It's three seasons. That's definitely a 3-season anime.
30 seasons, really. It's like the One Piece equivalent.
Oh, it's a One Piece
Some
equivalent.
One Piece stuff now.
It's a One Piece.
Started in 1995.
And
it's
they're
still-
actually rebooting the first
Yes,
episode now.
Yeah,
They
Again,
are, yes.
Yep. Doing a brotherhood situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're redesigning the Leica character to be more, the human form of the Leica character to be hotter
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
and even more bangable.
What
Yeah.
is it like? I feel like that's the opposite of what they typically, because it's usually like the 90s version was insane. And they have to pull back a little bit in the
That's
modern
true.
day.
If we look at the Trigun reboot, right?
Oh,
like
gosh,
the animation
yeah.
style changes, and like you're right, it gets less BDSM-y.
Yeah.
But like it does get more like sad boy wants to be pegged.
Yeah.
You're
Right,
absolutely right.
so-
It's just to match the sexual tastes of Tumblr today.
Yes.
So
Yes.
okay. That
Taste of the
makes
times,
total sense.
really.
The last thing that we define before we play a little bit is we are creating details for the drones and the soldiers within the ranks of the Star Conquerors. Now, I have already, to save us almost no time, made a few choices, but we do have questions here. Each of them has 3 questions, so deliciously, I get to ask one player each a question. And I'm just going to shout out the first question, and whomever wants to answer that one can do it. This is for the drones. What facial feature do drones have too many of? And what feature do they lack entirely?
Too many mouths.
Too many mouths. Ooh.
And no eyes.
And no eyes.
I was literally just gonna say,
Yeah,
yep.
That's
Yep.
very cool. The next question is, how do drones carry information to their superiors, and how do they communicate with each other?
Oh, I've got a thought. I know I answered the last one too, but what if they had to taste something to know it? And by tasting the information,
Oh, that's very good.
it would automatically go right to the
To
source.
whoever like
immediate.
created it, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, that's neat.
I
That's
love
neat.
that.
Well, does that mean they need, in order, because like they need to eat a snatch of soul of whatever in order, like I think that means they need like some sort of metaphysical soul in order to like imprint that information onto it.
What if they need to eat the entire body of a person
Ooh.
in order to like fully know it? So like, or like enough pounds of flesh or something. Like I don't know if just a single taste, like a single drop of blood, is enough to like transmit information fully.
I
might
like
be,
the
though.
idea that like something that was a vessel for a soul allows them to transmit, because like the idea that like, yeah, they're trying to get souls and collect souls in order to feed the larger angels, but in order to like transmit like, hey, we're ringing the dinner bell, they have to consume like flesh and blood and anything that is that could have been a cage for a soul almost. That's wild and so weird. If left unchecked, how do drones pose a threat to ordinary people?
Are they kind of harvesters as well then?
It
Like,
kind of feels like that.
They have a harvest mentality to them. So left unchecked without orders, they will just begin to harvest things.
Yeah, they'll just start eating stuff.
Yeah, I like that. They're like locusts.
Yeah, they
Biblical.
they're mouths.
Do we call these the locusts and the soldiers the shrikes?
Ooh, okay, yeah, that's really cool.
Love it. It's very biblical too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's
lo-
what
like
I'm
the
thinking.
locusts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Locusts and shrikes. Okay, we move on to the shrikes. They're just to let you in on. I guess we'll move back to the locusts for a second. The decisions that I made about their abilities. They have the ability binding. Locusts can create material that restricts movement. It can downgrade risk with partial bind or fully restrain someone with 10 escape threshold if it is a full bind. So like they can like cocoon up victims. Their weaknesses are they are vulnerable to star metal, and they are mindless. Drones cannot think for themselves and will only follow specific orders unless they are commanded by a soldier or a lord class, which makes total sense that these angels kind of operate off code, and this is just a smaller version of an angel. Then we come to the Shrikes. Shrike's abilities are Phalanx. As long as there are multiple Shrikes within proximity, they get a bonus to their defense. Infesting, they have the ability to replicate. Given sufficient time and resources, they can create drones, so they can create locusts or other Shrikes. Their weaknesses are arrogant. Soldiers do not see anything but demons as a threat. And, of course, they are weak against star metal. We come down to their questions. And once again, I'll just shout these out loud. What signature weapons are used by Shrikes, and how are they similar to weapons that we know and recognize?
Swords.
Yeah.
I like the idea that they also wield swords just like we do. And I like the idea that their pauldrons have huge spikes on them. So when they defeat someone, they put you on there for harvesting.
Oh, nasty.
Ratchet.
Oh.
Ratchet. Nasty. Nasty world building. Love it here.
That means that a
Or
shrike.
if it would make more sense for lords to have that if they're bigger and more imposing.
Well, I mean, that's how they
Wow,
preserve.
like
Maybe
both.
that's how they pin the soul to the body so that they can transport it towards the lords for processing.
like pinning a butterfly,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah. Ugh. Like a fish with a hook.
Yeah.
Yep.
God.
Ugh.
Ooh.
And what makes these weapons strange or exotic? So we know they're swords, but why are they weird? My immediate pitch is that they're flaming swords, obviously, because
Yeah.
we've
Oh,
got
like
Angel.
fire.
Oh, because it's hot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me also says that like because they have psionics, they don't wield them like we wield them. They just move around them.
I like that.
I like that. Like like a halo. Like the swords kind of fan out and float around them.
Yeah.
I like that.
Or-
Yeah. No, I really like that as well. And the swords.
I think
could
they should
be
also
like,
be fire.
No, yeah, there's.
I think they should be fire
Yeah,
too.
they're definitely fire.
Floating fire swords.
If not on fire, they
Yeah.
are like white hot.
And I
so-
think, the
Exactly,
way that
yes.
they're on fire, especially because we described them as being blurred, you know that little point just above fire where it just kind of like lenses and warps? Like the fire
Like the
isn't
heat wave,
visible.
yeah.
You just see like in the shape of fire, this warping. So it's like really, really hideously disorienting. I think that's also supposed to be the hottest part of a fire too. So
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
terrifying.
Oh, that's really cool.
What strange traditions inform the Shrike's warrior sense of honor?
I think they pray before battle. Or-
Oh, when it's
okay.
So I see you also had a thought.
I also think it could be interesting if they kill each other if they fail.
Oh,
Yeah, I
cool.
love
Failure is
that.
just not tolerated.
not tolerated. Yeah.
It's not perfect.
I feel like that prayer isn't binary.
It's like,
Prayer's got to be a binary
Yeah.
for sure. For sure.
yeah.
Could we do both?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That
I
it's
say
like
yeah.
a prayer of perfection. Yeah.
I feel like having
Prayer of
three
perfection.
traditions. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Okay. How many mundane warriors, and by that we mean non-century knights and like not like wizards or witches or any other things, like just soldiers, are needed to take down a single Shrike?
Oh God. Like, that it's a death machine. Like
Yeah.
100. Like it's.
I was thinking
wow.
like 50 to
like
100.
50
yeah.
to 100.
Especially if there's not too many of them. Drones, I think, like 10 really dedicated villagers armed to the teeth who have studied drones before could take one down.
I agree.
But I think like a
Shrike?
Shrike?
Yeah.
No, a Shrike is like
I feel
I
like
think
you
like
almost
50 to
need like
100.
I was thinking more than that. I was thinking like a small army maybe.
A small army to take down a single Shrike.
Well, if you think
That's
that
what I
like
mean.
they're just a fan of blades that are
Yeah.
superheated
That
and
slice
just
through you.
move.
It's binary coding you into pieces.
Yeah.
I guess if
Yeah.
you don't have like, I guess if they had like a star metal weapon of some kind or whatever, like that might turn the thing, but like it would
Turn
probably
the
be
tide,
a difficult
yeah.
form. And it's like, why? Oh, we need a Century Knight yesterday
Yeah.
to deal with these problems.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Yes.
about like thinking about House of the Dragon, like it's like having a dragon on the bat. Like, what are you even supposed to do if you're just a guy with a normal sword?
Yeah, there's
Sure.
nothing you
Yeah.
can do.
You
There's
can't even
nothing you
parry
can-
their swords because they'll cut through your sword and then cut your head off. You know, because
Yeah.
it's so hot.
Yeah, all you can
Yeah.
do is run. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah. No, we're on the same
distract
page.
while other people run is basically the only thing soldier
Yeah.
or an
Yeah, you need
ordinary
a sentry
warrior can
blade
do.
to really take it on. Yeah.
or star metal in
You
some
need
way.
or like
Yep,
you
or
know,
star
assuming
metal.
that there are magicians or something, like there are other things
Yes,
that could exist
yes.
within this world, but we don't know
Yeah.
about them. And
Yeah.
folks, we have just completed the world building that we will need to actually play this game. So I think right now is a perfect time for a quick little bio break.
good to me.
So stick to this same channel. We'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes while we go prepare ourselves to face the Star Conquerors. We are back. Thank you so much for being patient with us while we dealt with the strife of having physical human bodies.
The angels will fix that for us.
Yes, they will. They'll purify.
They sure
it.
will.
And will that mean they turn us into cosmic spaghetti? Sort of. Sort of.
Spaghetti.
Before we get into spaghettifying our immortal souls, I wanted to remind everybody that we are here for One Shot Toberfest. What is One Shot Toberfest? It's a celebration of the fact that capitalism compels us to acquire resources in order to make art, because the price of making art is time, and we need to justify that time because some of us have human 2-year-olds that require us to look after them. We produce a lot of really cool art here on the One Shot Network. We do Skyjack's Courier's Call, an all ages actual play. If you want to introduce the love of gaming to someone small in your life, I highly recommend that. We've got One Shot, the podcast that explores as many different role-playing systems as possible in really, really entertaining ways. We've got Campaign Skyjacks, the anti-colonial sky pirate game inspired by the music of the Decemberists. There's a lot of weird stuff that can only exist because folks like you support it. Particularly, we hope that you support us by going to patreon.com/oneshotpodcast and signing up to give us an amount of money every month. That allows us to budget what we can produce. And having a strong Patreon allows us not only to keep bringing you the shows that you love, but experiment, but uplift other shows that join the network and create new and interesting things, very much like this system that we're playing right now. All of that can be created when we have the space to look at our time and decide what we want to do with it. And even if you cannot support us financially, just heading over to sign up for the Patreon to be a free member also helps us so that we can contact our audience when we want to tell you about something exciting that we're doing. So please take time, head over on Patreon and sign up. It helps me, it helps Drew, it helps everybody on the network in many different ways, including dozens of invisible people that are responsible for bringing you the shows that you listen to every week. One of the major organizers of this charity fundraiser, of this Patreon drive was Tracy Barnett, who is a project manager at the One Shot Network. Tracy is the effort behind things like our book club, where we get different RPG designers to create micro RPGs, especially for Patreon members every month. Tracy organizes things like the recordings of one-shot episodes, taking that audio and turning it into the final product that you listen to, beautifying and uplifting the voices of Dylan and everyone that he chooses to have on for those episodes. There's so much work that goes into making what we're making, and really we can only ethically keep doing that if we compensate people for their time. I'm the only person who can opt out of compensation. And even I don't want to do that. It is unideal for me to do that. So once again, please head over to patreon.com/oneshotpodcast and consider signing up. I also want to take some time to highlight the Transplanar Network. We are here with Connie and C, who are also doing amazing things. If you like what we do on One Shot and you want more actual play with really entertaining and engaging performers, with really great production value, and with themes that are like, I feel like there's a spiritual connection between the themes of a lot of what we do here in One Shot and what the folks over at Transplanar do. I think, as it will be revealed in the Ultimate RPG podcast, I think they do more groundwork on a lot of the things that they do, and I deeply, deeply admire what they do. But I feel like, generally speaking, if you like our stuff, you will like their stuff, and highly recommend that you go check it out. But we have a game to play, and we're only going to really be able to start an adventure here, but I think that is fine. I am really curious to see what we can do with some of these ideas that we came up with in our session here. So I think we join you on our generic fantasy looking world. I think we've got a lot of sweeping vistas, tall trees, billowing grasses. But of course, the generic fantasy world idea is only merely the foundation of what we create together. So I'm going to ask each of my players to describe one detail that makes this generic fantasy landscape unique or interesting.
I think off in the distance, depending on where you're standing, especially if you're in the lowlands, at the crest of a valley, or somewhere where the land lays very flat and still, on the horizon you can see a warping of the line where sky meets sea, or where sky meets land. It's a sign that there's a part of the shattered sword nearby, a distortion in our perception of reality. And sometimes that distortion looks like a black spire being punched directly into space. And sometimes the distortion looks like the memory of a home that you never had. And sometimes the distortion looks like a smell that you can't quite place as soon as you stop smelling it. But these little pockets of strangeness are everywhere in this realm. And people have learned at this point to keep well away from and leave those spaces well alone.
I love that. I love especially like the mirage effect that you kind of seeded into that it challenges your perceptions. And it's also got that, what is it? Synesthetic quality of it looks like a smell somehow. Yeah, it warps the world in a way. But I also want to say that on against this landscape, that lensing that you can see, that strange spire in the distance, it is not threatening or looming in any way. People keep their distance from it, perhaps in the same way that you keep your distance from a high mountain. It is a beautiful part of the landscape that nature seems at harmony with in some ways. It is a quirk of the area, a way that people orient themselves. But it's not a harbinger of doom or death, the way you might immediately think. Who's got another detail for me?
I've got one for you. There used to be a full moon. But now it is broken in the sky in many pieces, and one of a larger piece is very close to the atmosphere of the Earth, and occasionally casts a 6-hour second night over different parts of the world depending on the orbit.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I think there are trailing pieces from that large section of the moon that have broken off. That,
1
like,
hour
connect
night.
it to the moon. Yeah, it's just like you get a lot of tiny eclipses across the planet. But obviously this big chunk causes the most of them. And of course, having that kind of detritus in the orbit of the planet means there are a lot of shooting stars too, which is just
Yeah.
sweet and delightful. Drew, what have you got?
The world itself is very overgrown. It is a world that is not developed or industrialized in any way at this point. As a matter of fact, there are no large settlements of humans. Collecting together is dangerous because that's a lot of souls in one place.
Oh, wow. Okay, so a thing that we have decided is the Star Conquerors are a very immediate and severe threat.
I think they are. I think that they are. It is not they will be here one day, but they are here now. And the only large settlements or cities that we see are religious centers, where the faithful gather to purify their pristine souls and give them to the cosmic weavers.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, basically in order to be able to gather, in order to be able to have large settlements, people kind of need to convert or they face the wrath of the Shrikes. That is wicked.
Could we add that there, I think the angels came not super long ago, but also not super recently. I'm thinking within, similar to when the sword ship crashed and fell, like around 300 years ago or so, maybe give or take 100 years. So there are probably
that the swords have been here longer than the angels.
Yes. Than the angels. So maybe the angels came like 150 years ago or something like that. But I'm thinking there are definitely remnants of civilization.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? So like abandoned city centers and whatnot. Yeah.
Well, I also kind of, I'm going to hopefully challenge in a positive way that first bit of world building that we got around those lensing pillars and whatnot. I think any free cities remaining actually have to be built within the territory of the weird star metal, because it's the only places that the angels won't approach, like generally speaking. Yeah, you just, in order to survive, in order to build those cities, people just had to go, well, I guess I'm going to walk into the lens zone, and everything's kind of messed up in there, and it's hard to live. But it's hard to live in the way that it's difficult to live in like a desert, right? You get used to it. People are really good at adapting to even extreme circumstances. We just think of extreme circumstances in terms of temperature and biodiversity and not lensing and warping of space-time. But hey, if it was there, we would figure it out, because that's sort of the plucky kind of people that we are. I think that we find our three heroes on this vista that is overlooking this in the distance warping pillar, because this place is rumored to be the location of a free settlement, and they have called for the aid of Century Knights, and your group has decided to answer that call. I want to know who is like your leader, more or less, in your group, like who, because I feel like there is arguments that a lot of different ones of you could call the shots.
Go ahead, C.
Hear me out. I do have to wonder if I have yet revealed the fact that I am a dog.
I don't think so.
I very much like the idea that I'm still playing the role of the hero.
Sure.
Oddly.
So you just put
Then
on
my
that
character
face
would
and
defer
never
to you.
took it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
For a while. The vice that I learned in my feat, acquiring a vice, the vice of lying. I learned how to lie.
Sure.
Dogs can't lie.
Yeah.
I learned how to lie. And I've been lying about my identity.
Your poor little doggy soul.
Of course, of course. So yeah, it is this suit of armor, and this tired-looking soldier flanking the chosen one. I am now going to ask. I really want to know. See, what does the chosen one look like, or what did your master, the chosen one, look like?
They are a handsome butch person. I think they, he, she pronouns. They used to have a very, very cleanly cut, kind of long hair in the back, shaved on the sides that they would sometimes braid, that they would sometimes pull up, which has gotten shaggier. It's like dark brown hair, light white skin, and these warm green gray eyes. Smattering of freckles and an old scar down their cheek from a battle they once won against a terrible tyrant. Perhaps an angel a long time ago. Yeah. One of the, a shrike, a scar from a shrike where it just grazed them.
Damn.
And yeah, they wear this, I think a kind of like humble hero's garb. Like short half cape that's a little tattered at the end, some simple dark iron armor over, I think, this warm burgundy or dark purple robes and trousers. They have this heavy brows, fierce smile, and an attentive, warm expression.
Ooh. And I guess standing at a similar height next to this character must be the armor that they once wore. Drew, could you please describe what your character looks like?
I feel as if the armor of the Chosen One was magical in nature to begin with. It is not made of star metal, but it is made to emulate star metal.
Oh. Is it like an alloy?
It might be. It might be a star metal alloy.
Could have like an inlay even.
Yeah. There's a lot of beautiful scroll work and acid etching on the metal itself. It is a work of art that is meant to be seen from a distance and say, there's the Chosen One. He or they are who I will follow into battle. And it is it's anime ass pauldrons, like, big pauldrons, and it's an armor that I think is a little bigger than the hero themselves. As in, like, it's almost like a hard suit mech.
Ooh,
in that
yeah.
way. So like it's a little bit taller. It's maybe a foot or two taller than the hero themselves.
I love it.
There is the helmet that is on it is swept back and beautiful. It's very angular, and it almost is made in mockery of the angels themselves. But we see, as we look at this armor that is standing there poised very regally, shoulders back, that we see that this suit of armor is empty. There is nothing on the inside of it that would give anything. And as it moves hollowly. Hollowy? It moves with a hollow step. And there is a brilliant blue light that shines where the eyes would be, and two ice blue pinpricks that show that there is something inside that is not human.
Oh, I love it. And Connie, please, next to these, like, kind of wild and heroic and bright-eyed looking characters, please describe your tired soldier.
Yeah, next to these this beautiful angelic suit of armor, this smiling hero chosen one is a sad sack of shit. Chongjan has this overgrown white hair that kind of shags in front of their eyes, and the roots of their hair on the sides are black, but not for much longer. Everything else is white. It doesn't look very well kept, but they're wearing it in almost a kind of alluring way, like they can drag you into their sadness and hold you there under the water. They're wearing this kind of poncho, like over their like shoulders, that kind of gives them a very like broad looking silhouette, and the poncho like dips down sharply at an angle to conceal most of their right arm. But what you do see of their right arm poking out from the ragged ends of the poncho are what look to be like skeletal fingers instead of like a flesh hand. Their left arm, however, is mostly covered by a kind of leather and a little bit of iron, but mostly leather kind of like arm guard, you know what I mean? And a kind of just a single pauldron also made of hardened leather. If I were to describe their dress overall, it would be kind of a very martial leaning rogue look. So not a lot of hard metal, no plate at all. The most is probably padded cloth, leather work, and a little bit of chain. And they have these like all of their joints allow for a big freedom of movement, and they look like they could snap to action at any moment. They glance up briefly, and through the shag of their hair, you see these like washed out pale eyes that just looking at them, you get the feeling they weren't born with eyes like this. It looked like someone took an eyedropper and just drained out all of the color from their eyes. So they used to be a very vibrant black, but they're a faded gray, and it doesn't look natural. With a little glimmer of blue, which will flare into action when they activate their winter powers, of course, because of anime. Of course, because of anime. But other than that, I think pronouns for this character, they, she. They are definitely not nearly as imposing as the hero or their suit of armor, which I need to ask, how tall is the hero? Because the suit of armor is like a foot taller than that.
Oh, 5'11" maybe?
Oh, wow. So barely scraping, just almost at 6 feet. Okay, then Chongjan is probably like, honestly, 5'6", 5'7" at most. They don't look very imposing, but they do exude a kind of aura of like standoffishness. You would think twice, unless you were really drunk. You'd think twice before screwing with them.
All right. When you received like word that this settlement, this free city or free whatever, we really don't know how large it is, was asking for aid, like how did it come to you? Was it a person who sought you out? Was it a letter of some kind?
I have a pitch, unless other folks have like a strong idea.
Please.
I think maybe it was the demonic liaison that Chongjan sometimes interacts with. I'm trying to think if the two of you have met this liaison before, / if you know of their relationship to Chongjan, which boils down to how long have we been traveling together, do y'all think?
Oh, that's so interesting. I would say, let's say it's recent.
Yeah, okay.
Within the last like 2-3 months.
Yeah, okay.
So we've done like maybe an adventure together.
Okay, yep. I think maybe we met, the inciting incident was like some big violent thing that brought us all together, and we ended up like weirdly working well together, and we decided to travel together, and obviously we're all sword wielders too, so that's rather unusual for us to meet up. Yeah. Okay, then in that case, the two of you would notice that occasionally when we make camp, Chongjan will excuse themselves from the camp and be gone for hours at a time, but then return either not saying anything or with new information. And they would not explain where they got it from. So this would be like they randomly came back maybe like half a week ago, being like, there's a village nearby that needs our help. And like would not explain on their own, but might offer some like bullshit reason for how they know if pressed.
Okay. I like that. So yeah, I think we flash back quickly, and we see the demon liaison that Chongjan is it
Chongjan. I can put the phonetics in the chat for us.
Sure, yes. I just want to make sure that I'm not just making it my version of the thing and it is the actual character's name.
Yeah, so the pronunciation is kind of like Chong. Like change almost, the ch in the beginning, Chong, and then you go kind of ong at the end, and John. It's almost like you're saying John, but like kind of angrily, like
sure,
John.
Sure. Great. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That is perfect. So yeah, Chongjon is, I think, like, I really like this happening. The demons can only come out or interact under an eclipse or under, like, when the sun is not present.
When it's cold.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, that's good.
So, and this particular demon, I kind of feel like, does anybody know what sea ice looks like? So there is ice of an iceberg, which is, this kind of like light blue because light is shining through it. However, there is on icebergs a special layer of ice that can form that only forms underwater, meaning there is no air in it. So there's nothing that gives it that blue hue. Instead, it's kind of like a dark green, like almost an emerald. So I think it is this strange, like liquidy being that has like this emerald hue to its flesh. And I think it's like very attractive. I think it has like milk white eyes and an easy smile, but everything about it is darkness and shadows. It goes, "Oh, my dear friend, I am so glad that you have companions traveling with you now. It makes it so much more useful and so much easier for you to pay your debts back."
Just means to an end. Nothing more. What do you want?
I want what you want. I want to see your missions fulfilled, and I know that you burn for peace. I can feel it. So I'm very excited to tell you that you have an opportunity to create peace. Not far from here, there is a fragment of star metal. Obviously, my kind cannot approach it. It's also quite exposed to the light of the sun. Many reasons that we cannot reinforce the efforts of the free people inside. But I'm so happy to tell you there are free people inside. It is one of the liberated settlements, one of the few places that does not worship the angels. They are being blockaded by the conquerors. And there is suspicion that the conquerors are close to finding a way to wipe them out without an invasion, which, of course, would be impossible. They need protection.
All right. What's your cut out of it?
Let's say that having a free settlement benefits us all.
Okay. Any conditions of success? Stipulations?
I need it to be not just that the blockade has fallen, but most important is that there be no risk that the city or settlement is destroyed. And, perhaps to make your job more difficult, the settlement cannot be moved. It must stay where it is. You must mount a true defense for these folk.
Understood. Anything else?
That is all for now. You relax. There's no need to be so worried. You have been on your guard since the moment I met you. You were coughing up blood and staring at me with suspicious eyes.
I am completely relaxed, Rhyme. Can't you see?
Well, let's be generous and say that I do.
Any response from the from your boss about my request?
Oh, you make so many requests of me. Remind me again what it was you were after.
The blade. It's getting louder. Harder for me to... I have perfect control over it. Don't get me wrong here. But it's getting loud.
Oh, yes. He did mention something that might help you. When the blade gets loud, it is singing for its dinner. You need to feed it.
Chaos.
Just a little.
Fine.
There.
And Chongjan does what they always do when they're ready to stop talking with you, which is they stand up from whatever tree stump they've like sat down on, and they just kind of like swing their arms almost a little awkwardly underneath the poncho. Are we done here?
And I think, like, basically as you stand up, disintegrating into, it's mist. It's like when you breathe out. It is just like cold air hitting warm air. There's just a fog that rolls away.
And not for the first time, and not for the last time, as this demon dissipates into this cold mist that can make any human shiver within their own skin, Chongjan wishes they could feel how cold it was.
Oh, heartbreaking. I love it. So Chongjan, you have like your orders. You can see in the distance the place that is likely holding this city or hosting this city. So now we can bring you towards how rolling and actions work in this game. Basically, there are two dice. There are risk dice and impact dice. You have the larger risk you take, the greater impact you can have, and vice versa. The lower your risk is, the less impactful the things you do will be. This is under the rolling guide on your character sheet. So, in the middle, if you roll a D8, you'll be able to have a D10 of impact. But it goes all the way to a D4 of risk, giving you a D20 of impact, and vice versa. So that is whenever you take any kind of action, whether it is in combat or out of combat, those will be the dice that we're dealing with to see if you are successful, and to see how much your success impacts the world around you. Your goal is pretty open. You know that there is a blockade. You know that there are people inside the settlement, and you know that the angels are working on some way to destroy the settlement. What do you do?
Can we establish the settlement to see what it looks like?
Well, you're not in there
we're
yet,
not there
but
yet.
you
Okay.
will be able to should you reach it.
All right, let's get there then.
I think up on this rise, Laika is, as always, bouncing from foot to foot, kind of shifting back and forth. This kind of new kinesthetic energy that they have after returning from space. And they just kind of are shifting back and forth, ready to start the day, ready to get going. It's been a while since we've taken a good walk, right? So I'm really excited to get going. Oh, man. It'll probably take us all day to walk there, right? We'll just be walking all day. I can't wait.
If that is thy wish, chosen one, we shall walk
Oh, yeah.
all day.
Oh, totally. Yes. Oh, my God. I would be so psyched to walk all day, actually. Oh, man. And you finally don't smell like brimstone and winter grass anymore. So I'm just, it's going to be such a good day walking.
Chosen one, do you wish me to throw the stick?
Oh, yeah. Just to get us going. Yeah. I feel like we should just do some reflex management. And
If that
do you
is
want to
thy
run with me?
wish, I will run with you, chosen one, if that is what you wish.
Yeah. And do you want to run with me too? Just to get started, just to get the blood pumping.
Just, I'll stay the course on the path to the settlement. The two of you can.
Yeah.
run.
Cool. Yeah. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'll watch our stuff here.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
we walk.
cool.
Yeah.
I'll bring it back to you.
You know what?
Can I roll to
Fine,
chase
yeah.
a stick?
Yeah. It seems like speed is the name of the game. It feels like that's what you're working for here. So decide like on how much abandon you are running with versus
All the way.
how much. So you're going all the way up to it's a D4 of risk and a D20 of impact, and you were trying to go as fast as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Love it.
By thy will and power, I will throw the stick.
Nice. I rolled a 2.
Okay. You've got a 2. You like I described you on a vista. So I really like that, like there is like kind of this wooded area beneath you, like maybe a forest that meets some plains around this strange lensing spire. And literally we see this suit of armor toss this stick down into this abyss, and we see this like extremely excitable and nimble hero that occasionally perhaps moves on all fours. Who's to say? Like, I think essentially dance down this edifice. What did you get for your impact? The D20 roll?
Oh, I rolled them both?
Yeah, roll them both because like that
Oh.
was the risk was to see something else that we'll get to in a second, but the impact is what you were driving for. You were prioritizing your speed. That is the thing that is going to be like heavy. So roll that
He's
D20.
going the distance.
My risk was a 2. My impact was a 19.
Oh
my God.
So this is something that would be literally impossible for any other person. You are moving with the speed of it's the speed of an avalanche. You are like flowing down this mountain. Your step is as sure as a mountain goat's. Some of the landings that you make just betray a level of balance that is completely unheard of. I think it is. I'm actually curious. Does this remind you of the hero that you once followed, Shungjan? Like, is it like, oh yeah, that's the spitting image, or like, wow, some wild shit happened in the intervening years?
Okay, so we've been traveling for 3 months. Chongchan thinks there's something really fucking weird and wrong about this hero. Like, has felt it since the moment they met. Like, assumed that you just came back weird. But every now and then, you will seem really bestial. You'll seem really animalistic in a way. And this just sears it into Chongjan's mind. They're at the edge of this, like, ravine, this cliff that you've, like, hurtled down the face of. And they go, just be careful.
Do not worry, soldier. They will be fine. They are, indeed, the chosen one.
Well, yes, of course. And I swore a pledge of fealty back when you... How do the two of you, so do we know you're a suit of armor above the table?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay,
I do not think I'm capable of lying. Like,
okay.
I think the moment you're
back
like,
when
wait,
you were...
yeah.
Yep. Back when you were on the chosen one, remind me why you don't fully enclose them anymore?
It's weird.
Okay.
There is a boundary to be had.
Oh.
I am an I'm an entity of my own. It'd be strange to have the hero inside me.
It's
we don't have to talk.
weird.
Yeah, it's literally
Right. Yeah,
weird.
we don't.
We don't.
Yeah, we can move on.
We tried it once. It didn't work.
Deeply intimate.
Oh.
It's a deeply intimate moment that I'm still processing and not quite.
All right, you don't have to. I'm not.
I'm happy to talk about it if you wish me to.
Have you thought about journaling? No. I just why don't you write about this?
I could write.
And don't
this. Shall I carry you down?
Talk to me, Nessa. I know. You know what? Fine. It's a shortcut anyway.
Oh yeah,
weirdly enough.
the armor definitely princess carries you down. Hang on.
Fine. All right, big guy.
And
I like place my hands awkwardly on your chest piece.
Oh, cold. I'm gonna roll I'm gonna go middle of the road. I'm gonna do an 8 and a 10.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Give me a second to roll.
Trying to see if we have any. This is a 10.
That's a 10. Do we have an 8? I don't know if we have an 8.
I think we did at some point.
At one
but
point
I
we
don't
did,
see
but
it.
you know what? It's fine. Let me pull up a dice roller real quick. I am so sorry.
All right. The shared dice tray sound ASMR was really I loved.
Here's an 8.
I
Here's an
love
8.
that.
Excellent. That is a 3 on the 10 and an 8 on the 8.
Okay. So I think the chosen one moves down. What was the chosen one's name? Because I assume it's different.
Leica.
So
Leica.
so Leica has like fully adopted the name. Okay. Or was it Leica named their dog Leica?
Oh, damn it. I need 2 names. This is the hardest part of character creation for me.
So I'm so sorry to ask for another name. That sucks of me.
Okay. The
The
hero's name can be Andromeda.
Andromeda.
And Andromeda.
Okay.
And the dog's name is Leica.
Okay. So
Okay.
Leica moves down the hill with like all the subtlety of uproarious laughter. It is a joyful thing to watch them descend, but like there are rocks that are displaced. There are things that are tumbling now, and their joyful cries like echo over the hills. Our armor here, which the armor's name,
He just goes by the armor.
the armor. Oh, easy. The armor descends the mountain with speed, perhaps less grace, but definitely more subtly. I think it is like very planned movements, almost like very automatic, jumping down to a place with near perfect balance, then jumping to another.
It's very mindful. The armor will say what he is about to do before he does it. He'll land and go, "Hang on, I will jump to that other ledge. 1,
Yep.
2,
Okay. Yeah, you
3,"
don't
and
always
then
have
we-
to.
Yeah.
All right.
We have landed upon the ledge. There is another one just below us. I will jump to that one. 1, 2,
All right. Yep.
3.
All right. 3, and we.
All right, there's one more. Hang on.
Okay.
We will do a 5 count. 1, 2.
All right. You don't
3,
necessarily have to. Is it really going to
4,
be that long?
5.
You're kind of selling this. You're setting this up to be really intense, and I'm not sure if it's gonna. Okay.
We have arrived.
So yeah, we'll actually cut to that arrival in a second, because Leica was the first one down the hill, like by a wide margin. Mainly because armor's having to take care of a human person and make sure that they don't break any bones. Leica just caught up in enthusiasm, took this reckless path down the hill, and I think even reached the stick. But of course, we had a risk
Yes.
roll as part of that like tremendous impact roll. What sound does one associate with the locusts?
Oh. Chattering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The clicking
talk.
of teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is the steely clicks of the random bits of blade that make up the body of a locust, like ticking together. It's almost like a clock, a truly horrible clock. You, like, as soon as you get down, like, I think, you know, having that history as a dog, like, you notice I don't hear the sounds of the animals that I should be hearing the sounds of. There is too much silence here, and then clicking. So your risk was you didn't move down subtly enough. You were detected immediately, and the locusts, as part of this blockade, are swarming to find you. And because you moved down so much more quickly than your companions, there is going to be a round before your companions get here. However, you were so fast. Like, you hear them in the distance. You know they're going to be coming. You do have time to prepare. So I'm going to give you a round C. What do you do to prepare?
Oh, fascinating. Leica still wearing the body of their chosen hero. Kind of, they get down to the stick. They lunge for it with their mouth before realizing and remembering that they need to use their human hand, all 5 digits, to grab. And they grab in a victory pose, like they're raising a heroic heavenly sword up to the sky. They raise the stick. I've got it! And then the silence falls behind them as the armor is taking time to get down.
Yeah, you can
There's
hear
no
faintly in the
birds.
background, I will jump to this spot on 4.
4,
1, 2.
And then,
5.
no, please don't. You don't have to. Ah!
And it's like, head tips. They hear something. They smell the air first before looking.
What do the angels smell like?
Ooh, they smell like blood in the gums. It's like, you know how when you go to the dentist and there's blood in there?
Mm-hmm.
It smells like that.
Yeah.
That's what they smell like.
And hot metal.
Hot metal and bloody gums.
It's unmistakable. You have absolutely faced angels before.
The instinct to bark overwhelms Leica for a moment, and they go, ah, ah! But the sound doesn't sound right in their human throat. And they can feel their fur. They can feel their fur, which is hair now, rising on impact as they bare their teeth. They bark. They remember how to be a good boy now and what they need to do. And I think they take the stick with the fetch instinct still happening, and they've barked an alarm. Step 1 complete. Step 2 is to get back to regroup with their friends, with their companions.
Okay. So they want to regroup. So are you basically trying to lower the amount of time between when your companions will arrive and when you will make contact with the drones is what I'm understanding.
Yes.
Okay.
Potentially even leading. I'm imagining they're inadvertently leading some of the drones to our friends here.
Sure.
But pulling them away potentially from the blockade.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. How do you want to split your risk and impact?
Oh, let's do right down the middle as well. This is a simple case of running away from the danger before it arrives at me. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to risk D8, impact D10.
Okay.
And the D10 was a 3. The D8 was a 5.
Okay. All right. So they are able to perfectly follow you. You are not able to lose them. They know where you are, but they're moving at a pace that's
at them.
much slower, much slower than you. So I think what this is going to do is basically you will be able to meet your companions as soon as they get to the bottom of the hill, perhaps even shout a warning, but then you are going to be surrounded by locusts.
Sounds good to me. I think as you're both getting down to the bottom of the cliff, that final arrival, Leica, or rather Andromeda, comes breaking out of the tree line, running again. There's still that kind of like big expression on their face. They're still holding on to the stick. We got.
There you are.
They got the
We
stick.
need to be quiet.
Well,
There's a blockade up ahead. Don't forget.
well, yeah. No, yeah, I got it.
You got what?
The blockade.
Well, shit.
All right. Your group is definitely going to be able to act first. What do y'all do? Like, you can hear the locusts closing in.
The armor sets down Chongjan.
Chongjan.
Sets down Chongjan and pulls from their back their sentry blade. It is It's 6 feet tall. So they're like 7 foot. They're like 7.5 feet. So it's just a little shorter than they are, but it's two-handed. But it's only about 3 fingers width of steel on it. It's not a huge fantasy Buster Sword ass thing. And they take it off, and it's etched in these like arcane demonic runes, and the blade is black. And it gives off smoke, and the
Yeah, I think these runes are the sort of Arctic blue color that you'd associate with icebergs traditionally.
Yeah, so it's like a black blade with this ice blue, and like it gives off that like mist when it's something that's very, very cold, like dry ice. And they place it forward into the ground ahead of them, and the moment that they see the first locust, you see them kick out the bottom of the blade, so it flips back onto their shoulder and into like a circle. And we see the armor begin this, just going in circles with the blade. That there's now like a aura of just moving metal around them.
Ooh. Okay, that rips. And is there anyone else who's going to take an action before we begin?
Yes. Strangely, Chongzhan, this thing has been happening every time we've been in battle, where instead of being the person who gives direction, instead of being the chosen hero who knows exactly where everyone should stand, Andromeda turns and looks at you with these big, open, empty, wide eyes that are clearly asking you to give them direction.
This is not the first time it's happened, but it does still startle Chongzhan, who remembers the general Andromeda as being such a forceful, charismatic leader that it kind of takes their undying breath away for a second. Sir, if you wouldn't mind just drawing their attention and setting me up.
Got it. And as though that is the single thing that has clicked into their mind, okay, here we go. And Leica turns, and I think also just kind of like flourishes out from underneath the stick. Like the stick kind of twists, turns, they push it under and pull it out again. And a jagged piece of star metal, the cursed blade, the blade of destruction, the blade of broken stars, as it is now called, because as it comes out, it is metal that is the lover of void. It is not the void itself, but it is the light reflected around the edge of a black hole. It is the place where light dies. It is not darkness. And this blade of tempered void gives way to shattered pieces of starlight itself, and these chunks of broken metal hanging off of it that float in the air as though it could still be wielded, connected by strings of constellation lights between them that bind it. And it hums and it vibrates and it hungers. And I would happily charge directly into the fray to make a distraction from my good friend.
All right. I think kind of surrounding you on all sides, you can see 6 locusts peek their horrible questing mouths through the underbrush of the wood. They are extremely noticeable, mainly because they add a blurry quality and like a shining quality. They catch the light in the worst possible ways, making it so it is impossible to ignore their steely mouths. They maybe don't exactly have teeth. Maybe it is like many, many beaks or something, but everything about them implies sharpness, implies cutting. They click forward, and there is just like that awful mechanical trill that makes up. It's not their language because they really don't have the minds for that, but it must have something to do with their navigation.
They are eyeless.
And see, you said that you were going to charge forward, so make your impact and risk roll on that.
Okay. I think what I'm deciding about Laika, whose desires chaos innately, is that they never do anything halfway. So I'm going D4 and D20 again.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I love this.
Okay.
I don't
I
think they don't know
love-
how to do anything in half
Yeah.
I
measures.
love it. Yeah,
It's
sure.
all or nothing. So my D20 is a 13, and my D4 is a 3.
A 3? That is enough. You reach one of these locusts and just absolutely obliterate it beyond all recognition. Describe for me how star metal wrought directly against a locust just absolutely fucks it up.
The moment right before a sunrise, you know how there are these anomalies that can happen? The green flash of light across the whole sky. It's like that. It's like the moment that the sun peaks over the horizon. There is a perihelion of light that rings through time, space, and sound that just that cuts. But cut is the wrong word because cut implies something clean. This is annihilation. On a cosmic scale. This is void eating light, eating fire.
This is an encapsulation of why star metal poses such a problem to the angels. I think you expect this, watching it, to make a larger sound than it does. You can see the fragments that explode off of this creature as it dissipates, but it is as if the star metal blade eats the sound, takes the light as well. And there is, I think, almost nothing left that even implied a locust was there.
Can we say that when locusts die by normal means, like even if they do die, like they go back to the angel that made them, unless they were slain by star metal?
Yes.
Like star metal actually removes that piece from the greater code of the angel, which like is the closest thing to death they can experience.
Which I love because that means like both angels and demons being vulnerable to star metal don't have they like literally can't interact with the thing that permanently destroys them.
Yeah.
Which makes their war extremely problematic.
I love that.
Or one thing that makes their war problematic. War's always kind of problematic.
That's true.
So Laika has definitely drawn the attention of the locusts with this. And I am going to say that is opening up a like the opportunity that Changjan was looking for.
Yes. With the armor swirling and becoming a literal circle of slicing death, and with Laika drawing the attention Changjan throws their poncho back as they throw their right arm out, and we see that at the elbow, the flesh becomes skeleton as their prosthetic. It's as though like all the flesh, tendon, muscle, bone, and blood has been stripped away from the arm, like down past the elbow, and the segmentation that joins these two pieces is like a bunch of jagged teeth. Like the skeleton part of her wants to eat the flesh part of her, like kind of throws her arm out in like a violent single motion, like she's trying to knock someone out who's invisible right next to her, and exploding out of the skeletal part, actually exploding out of the flesh part of her, like ripping out. And we realize that it's not just the prosthetic up to here. The prosthetic is actually the entire arm, but the flesh was also part of the prosthetic. Is a huge fucking blade. It comes out and it rips forward like a single talon on one of Wolverine's claws. And there's a handle that effortlessly melds into her skeletal fingers that she grabs onto. And this is their sword. It's just a huge, jagged bone blade.
Oh.
And they scythe it forward like a reaper while the other drones are distracted and are not part of the locust that the armor is fighting, and is going to try to slice them all in half as they've all been congregated in a single horde.
So if you want to target more than one locust, you simply need to have a risk roll that beats the defense of more than one locust. So decide how many you're going to target and roll it up.
I'm going to target, so the combined defense, so if I'm doing 2 and they have 3 defense each, it's 6?
Yes.
Combined. Okay, cool. So I want to target 3 locusts. I don't know what their defense number is.
I know.
So I know. So I suppose I'll play it a bit more conservatively. D10, D12 risk, D6 impact.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's see. It's not good. Is there a reroll mechanic or anything I can do to push my luck?
So the thing that you can do is spending effort. Every character has effort. You can add that to your risk or your impact on a roll. The effort is also how you activate some powers. So you have to decide if you want to spend it there. But indeed, you are able to juice your roll that way.
Yeah, you know what? It's a one shot. Why not? I'll juice it because I got a 2 on my D12. So I want to juice that up to a 6. So I'm gonna spend 4 effort.
Okay. Go for it.
And I'll roll my impact on this D6. That's a 4.
Okay.
Not bad for a D6.
All
Okay.
right. So I am happy to report that was a good decision. You said 4 on your D6?
Yeah, so 6 total. So yeah, 4 on my D6 and 6 total on my risk.
You blow up 3 of them. This is, as far as I understand, your blade is not made of star metal. Oh no, of course not, because that was rolled by C. So yeah, your blade isn't made of star metal. So describe what it looks like when the locusts get their bodies disrupted to the point of destruction.
Yes, they're blurry, right? They're blurry and they're sparkling. Like as the blade slices through, it's like the one moment they become clear for like a fraction of a second. Their tops separate from their bottoms, essentially. And the only part of them that remains blurry is the part that the impact is. And then all of us glimpse for a fraction of a second what they actually look like. But it is so horrific and incomprehensible that we kind of forget how to comprehend it as soon as our eyes stop looking at it. So every time fighting these things, you are remembering and forgetting. And it's about staying steady and keeping a hold of your emotions while you're fighting these things. Otherwise, regular people would run away screaming after they potentially kill one of these things. Chongjan sucks in a deep, wintry breath. And then the sparkling gets so bright and less like an explosion, more like light just getting sucked back into where it came from, because that's exactly what happens here. They go back to the angel, and then the strings of light evaporate and they are no more.
All right. The 2 remaining locusts are going to let's see here. They're going to continue to follow their orders. So we are going to roll for them. All right. So what happens? They rear back and they're targeting Laika right now. Laika was who they caught wind of first. Laika also came in with an utter destruction-based move. And out of their strange little bodies, this golden thread kind of shoots out. And I think it covers you almost like silly string. It's just like moving over your body, and it sticks to itself. It doesn't quite stick to you, but it sticks to itself, and they basically make a webbing, and it becomes a lot harder to move, especially because there are 2 of them targeting you at the same time. I like how
your mic cut off.
Like that. Yeah.
yeah, but I could see the performance.
Yeah.
I was wailing armor and then started to howl.
Oh my god, that's so good. Yeah. And I feel like we can even see the way Leica reacts, like a dog a dog catcher has like put one of those loops around their neck. It's just like slipping and trying to run, but like you're bound down. It's not that it's impossible for you to do things. You're not fully restrained, but everything is disrupted by this. They're trying very hard to incapacitate you, being targeted by two at once. It is now at the point where you would be impaired. You'll basically downgrade any risk die that you're using by one, which also affects like the maximum impact that you can have too.
Like when you put boots on a dog and they start moving weird because they're really upset about the concept. It's not that they can't walk around with their little boots on. It's that they are they're like, I can't do it. Leica behaves, I think, the same way up with this stuff. They're like, doing like worming about it.
That is,
and they call for the aid of the armor.
Armor, yeah, armor. There are two of these things left. What do you do?
Chosen one, do not worry, I am coming. We see the armor wade into the two locusts to go and destroy them, so they are no longer attacking the chosen one. I'm gonna go 10 D10 and a D8.
Okay.
So a risk at a D10 and an impact at a D8.
You're targeting both at once?
I'm targeting both at once.
Perfect.
That is a 9 on the D10 and a 2 on the D8.
Okay. Sorry. Was which one was risk?
Risk was 9.
Okay. So you hit both of them. This does not take them out. This is where we're starting to see some of the hardiness of angelic construction. Your attack, although it's a severe hit, it shows off why this is so difficult for people with mundane weapons. It's hard to say what their bodies even are. And, you do, when they die, get a brief look at what they are beneath all of the lensing and warping, but you forget immediately. So it makes them a really difficult opponent to attack vitally. Yeah, you've attacked the two, but haven't destroyed them completely.
I also think it's interesting because we're hitting, it's a demonic blade against angelic constructs.
Yeah.
So we're seeing also the when the armor hits, there's a hissing and a warping of things. And they've been built in such a way because I would imagine that the demons and the angels fight each other eternally.
Yeah.
And so they're made to withstand this in particular.
Well, Drew, I love that you mentioned a hissing when the blade comes together, because I do think there's the hissing of moisture falling on heat, but also you and I both know, because of the cat food that we get delivered, when dry ice contacts metal, it causes that metal to ring and scream.
Yeah.
So I think that is a little bit of the effect too.
I love that.
All
that
right.
was also such a beautiful flash into a moment that you two have clearly had about dry ice and metal screaming.
Once every month or so, we get this delivery of cat food, and especially during the summer months, there's a lot of dry ice that comes with it, and then it's party time. Then you are putting it in a bunch of water and just playing with the mist. I recommend, if anybody gets their hands on some dry ice, you gotta put some Dawn soap in the water and then put the dry ice in, because it'll foam up, and every time the bubble pops, mist will explode out of it. It's great.
Cool.
That's
so
cool
cool
for that combination.
A plug for dry ice.
Plug for dry ice. It's dangerous but fun.
As all good things are.
Let's turn over to Leica. Leica, you are partially restrained right now, maybe freaking out a little bit. There are two of these things left. They are damaged, but not destroyed.
Okay. So it's a one shot, so I'm speed running my character arc here. Leica, I think, now tangled up in this string, this stuff, this angelic entanglement, their body starts to warp in a way that's a little bit more strange than somebody who's just uncomfortable. It doesn't even necessarily look like they're in pain, but I think they have taken the blade, they try to turn the blade at them, but that is a weird sensation, and the stars kind of warble, the pieces fly about them and around them. And then, like, their face falls off. Like they were wearing a paper mask. And then their whole body kind of crumples down. Like they are a puzzle piece, like they're a Jenga tower kind of like falling apart in and of itself. Like bricks tumbling down. And then there's this moment where the clothes, the nice half cape with the tattered, it's like a moment is like, are they dead? And then Leica, the dog, a handsome mutt with this rugged brown fur. They not even like a real breed of dog, just like the most dog-shaped dog to have ever dogged in the whole wide world, comes barreling out of this half cape with the sword in its mouth, the hilt of it in their mouth, and they slash at one of these once again.
That makes total sense to me. Yeah, I will rule that transformation, especially because they were restraining a particular form, will instantly break you free of the restraint, which makes total sense to me. Reading your death mask, it looks like the only thing that you need to spend effort for death masks that you hold is to create them. It looks like you can move between them at will. So yeah, give me your risk and effect. Are you targeting both of these things?
I think I am. And I'm going to do, I think, a D6 and a D12, since I got a little muddied up, so I'm not at my full chaos game.
Sure.
So risk D6. That was a 4 on the dice for risk.
Okay.
My impact was a 1 for my D12.
Well, I mean, unfortunate. The rolls are just not helping you on this one. Because
That's
you targeted 2, you got just a little bit too low. Because you said you had 4 for your impact, right? Or 4 for your risk, right? Oh, never mind. Actually, that does hit both of them. It does hit both of them. So now we know that their defense is 2 on the locusts. However, 1 is not enough to take them down. So there is like they are still up despite being damaged. I think kind of everyone in your group is maybe a little bit stunned by this, but
I like to think that Leica still thinks that they're wearing the form of Andromeda, so when they slash, it is as though they're slashing with a human hand, and they like that's why it kind of misses. It's like an awkward attack that the dog is trying to do.
Or I like that a lot.
Chongjan is stunned, open-mouthed, aghast, staring at this dog for a second, and then kind of in like slow motion, like all the pieces start clicking into place. Right? Like the animalistic behaviors, their weird like empty obedience, the things about like I think Chongjan has brought up certain things that the hero has done or said, even to her directly in confidence before, and there was like a kind of like complete lack of recognition around it. Like all the little isms start building up to the point where Chongjan suddenly starts bursting out laughing, like a. Of course it's not actually you. Of course it's a fucking dog. And of course you're just an empty suit of armor. And of course I'm dead. But that's the best hope this world's got, isn't it?
Armor, I would like you to take this moment to finish off these 2 drones.
Yeah, we see Armor turn and do one big cut. I'm going to do a D8 risk with an impact of 10. That is a 4 on the D8.
Okay.
On the risk. And a 3 on the impact.
That is enough to take them both down.
We see Armor step
Yes.
forward and do a beautiful figure 8 motion that cuts through one and the other one, and we see cuts through one, and as it goes to the other one, we see the other one trying to coalesce again, and that's where Armor cuts through that one again, and so as they're trying to rebuild themselves, he cuts over and over and over and over and over again until they turn to nothing into golden motes that float off into the distance into nothing.
Yeah.
We see Armor place the blade into the ground and turn to Laika and go, "Chosen One, are you all right?" And they get down and they like take Laika by their face and like rub their cheeks and their ears.
I
Chosen
mean,
One, speak to me.
yeah.
Are you all right? Excellent.
This is their tails wagging.
Yeah, their tails going so, like, their tails going, and then, like, the recognition takes a second. Oh. And their ears kind of, like, flip up and pivot.
Is something wrong?
Yes, the chosen one is a dog.
And?
Andromeda was not a dog.
But
Are
the
you
dog,
Andromeda?
Are
Did you get turned into a dog?
Oh, well, no, I'm not a dog.
To which the Armor like cocks his head side to the side a little bit and goes, "But you are a dog.
Yeah, I'm a dog.
You are
No,
Laika.
I'm not a dog.
No, you are Laika, Andromeda's dog."
Wait, you knew?
I had my suspicions, but it does not matter. For you are the chosen one, for you wield the blade and have the heart of a warrior.
Oh.
It does not matter. And we see Armor like continue to scritch Laika's face. And Armor goes, "It does not matter what is here," as he scritches Laika's face. "It matters what is here." And he points to Laika's chest. "You are the chosen one."
Their tail is wagging so furiously. I just wanna be a good boy, and just
You are
I gotta go find.
a very good boy.
Nice.
So two
Oh, yeah.
members of the party are taking this very well. I am very curious about Chongjan and what's going on.
Yeah. Oh, my own Laika.
Oh, baby. Oh, what a
Cat variant.
I know I've mentioned it before, but the cats over in that household are gorgeous. Gorgeous creatures.
Truly adorable. Well, he's very happy that you think so. Chongjan is staring at this moment of reconciliation, love, and joy and whatnot, and is standing there. The blade is still out, but it's not pointed at either of you. It's just kind of like limply down to the side. Looks at Laika. Bubba. You wield the blade.
I went and I got it, just like Master wanted me to.
It lets you wield it. It's deemed you worthy.
I think they pick it up in their mouth again, where they had just kind of dropped it and it had shifted ambiently, but they pick it up now, the hilt again, and they're like talking around it. Yeah, I just kind of pick it up and I can do anything I really want with it. You know? And then,
Okay. You can drop the
bleh.
drop.
Good boy.
There's a moment where Chongjan like steps away, like turns away from the two of you. And in this moment of privacy, because they have like no normal people to talk to ever. In the past 3 months, they've had no one normal to talk to. So they do what they've done. They like murmur to themselves. Of fucking course. Of fucking course, this is who I'm traveling with. Because I was never meant for normalcy, was I?
What is normal?
A really good question. I think something not normal is definitely on its way as you hear in the distance the bending of boughs, the breaking of branches, the shredding of leaves, the horrible sing of the blades of a shrike.
God.
It is definitely after and I will say this is like a cool strategic thing that your party gets to decide on. If it's our very own Leica destroying a locust, then there's not gonna be any evidence that makes its way back to command. But when everybody else does, they know where the locusts were destroyed, and of course, shrikes are not far to follow. However, you do have an opportunity to get away. You know that like this thing is coming. You know what kind of threat it represents. The question is how your group decides to avoid it and which ways you're going.
I think as we all hear this, interrupting the middle of our conversation, actually a smile tugs at the corner of Chongjan's face. And as they start to turn back to face their companions, they say, normal is dead and buried with the person I used to be. And so is running away. And they like flourish the sword again, and they stand like next to Leica and Armor, and they say, I have been waiting for when I would fight side by side with the real you, toward Leica. And you as well, Armor.
This is good.
All right, so you have decided to face down the Shrike.
Woof woof.
I think it approaches more and more. The strange thing is there's the buzzing of wood being pulverized, right? And that is terrifying, but nowhere near as terrifying as the ring of the ultra sharp blades as they cut through the air. It's a ring that you can hear nowhere else on the planet, that metal resonating at such a high speed. It comes through and you can see the Shrike ahead of you. I will say, you have the opportunity to do something in preparation for the Shrike. One of the things that you can do, because nobody has recovered yet, is you can take, I believe it is a breath. That is rolling the recovery die, which everybody has a D8 for recovery. You can use that to replenish, since nobody took any physical injuries, you would replenish any effort that you have spent.
Since C and I do have to tap out at the hour, perhaps this can be kind of like our last stand, last moment action that we take as we start to face off against the Shrike.
Excellent. Then you brace for the Shrike to arrive, and that is where we leave you. I want to say thank you so much to Connie and C for joining us, for helping us test out this system. I don't think it fell apart completely. I think the parts of it that we knew were strong
it was so much fun.
and quite well. The mechanical parts do seem to be working right now, which is very, very good. So I'm happy with that. But of course, I want to remind everybody that we're here. We're here because we are trying to support the One Shot Network as a whole. It's not just the stuff that I do that makes the One Shot Network what it is. There are shows like Mystery County Monster Hunters Club, our urban fantasy about the most teenage protagonists that you can possibly imagine. I've seen a lot of shows that like are purportedly starring teen characters. It is the most starring teen characters of any show you could possibly imagine. They make selfish and foolish decisions all the time, and they are so much fun to listen to. Highly recommend them. And of course, there's Character Creation Cast, which explores different systems like One Shot does, but just explores the character creation portion of those systems and does a really, really cool job of it. It is a great way to get like a micro analysis of a game. And they usually do a lot to break down what themes are being implied just through the creation process. That and so many more shows are here on the One Shot Network. And in order to continue making them, we do need support on Patreon. So I encourage you now, if you can, to go to patreon.com/oneshotpodcast and see if there are any levels you might want to sign up for. Those levels do come with rewards. At the $5 level or more, you get access to our secret archive, which has lots of cool audio bonus content. At $15 or more, which I highly recommend, you get access to the book club, which, as I've said before, we hire game designers to make micro RPGs bespoke for our audience. So there are a lot of really cool games that you get the moment you join at $15 or more. That and so many other cool things. But of course, I have to thank the folks who are with me. Connie and C, could you please tell where folks, if they came to love your role-playing and your world-building, the way I certainly did, where they can find more of your work and just you in general, if they want to chase you down and shower you with compliments?
Yeah, absolutely. I am Connie Chang, pronouns they, he, and she. As I mentioned at the beginning of this stream, and I will again, I am the game master and creative director for Transplanar RPG, which is an all transgender, people of color led, dark fantasy actual play TTRPG channel telling stories in an original non-colonial anti-Orientalist multiverse. We tell stories about really sad, angry, gay, and trans people fighting the embodied forces of horror and eldritch abominations of the multiverse and whatnot. So if that, it's like the L word meets Cthulhu. So if that's interesting to you, just check us out. I'm also the game designer for God Killer RPG, which is a holy punk duet TTRPG for one player, the God Killer, and one game master god. If you want to kill a god, check out God Killer. The Ashcan's out right now on itch at byconniechang.itch.io, and the full game is in development with Evil Hat Productions. And this is my little Laika. This is Bao
my
Bao.
goodness.
He's our Mr. Man, Mod Bao Bao. He mods all of our streams, and by that I mean he sits on our laps and sheds fur everywhere. And I'll pass things over to our incredible producer, dramaturg, wearer of many hats, including the awoo one you see right now, C. Thomas.
Hi, everyone. My name is C. Thank you so much for having me. I use they, them pronouns, and you can find me making very trans reggae on the internet at C Plays RPG. If you liked what I did here tonight, it's very different from what I tend to do other places. But hey, I can do it all. So I was so happy to be here. I am, like Connie mentioned, the dramaturg, producer, and wearer of many hats over on Transplanar. I'm also a performer. You can find me playing in the recently completed God Killer Last Hope, which is Transplanar's first in-studio production. I've also been working on a brand new merch line for Transplanar. Decided that Transplanar's also a fashion brand. So if you like Connie's sweatshirt, if you like my hat, check it out.
Yeah.
You can always find us on our website at transplanarrpg.com or transplanarrpg.shop if you want to check that out. Otherwise, thank you so much for having me. Join the Patreon and make sure that James gets paid money and dollars.
Yes.
Ideally.
Give James your money and dollars.
Give James your money and your dollars.
All of my money, I can tell you, definitely goes directly towards feeding my child. So
Hey.
please very much support that effort. And of course, Drew not only was a player on this, but the co-designer of this new system. Drew, where can people find you and your good works?
Yes, you can find me at Worlds to Forge on the socials. You can also find me at Skyjack's Courier's Call online and wherever you can pick up podcasts. Go there, listen to it, enjoy it. feel a little hope in this awful world that we got going on. And with all that out of the way, back to you, James.
Yeah. Well, we've already told you to support the Patreon. I've already told you to check out Transplanar and all of the wonderful things that they're doing there. If you like this game, keep watching. Join the Patreon at the free level. I promise that when there are new things that come out about Cosmic Century Knights, that I will let you know there as well, so that you can get your hands on it and play it yourself. But with all that said, be sure to join us tomorrow night. That is the end of One Shot Toberfest. We have one more event that we are going to be streaming, and I am a part of that event. And can I remember it off the top of my head? No, I was at a convention quite recently. It is pub trivia with the folks from System Mastery. If you know Jeff and John from System Mastery, you might know that they recently, for Adams Media, the publisher that we write for occasionally, created a new RPG trivia book. So they are going to be running trivia for me and a couple other folks on the One Shot Network. The questions that they wrote are really wonderful, very difficult questions that even being somebody who has my base of knowledge and has been working in games as long as I can, I'll be struggling a little bit with it. But it's so very cool and such a great way to close out all of our efforts here. I can't thank anybody who has joined up with the Patreon enough for your support. It means the world to us. And we'll see you next time, heroes.